Our male protagonist, Seung, is known to everyone as a genius composer. Due to his dedication to his work, he neglected his family, only sending money home to his father and younger sister each month to cover their living expenses. While at the peak of his career, disaster struck Seung. Due to his arrogant nature, he got caught in a scandal that led the audience to boycott him en masse. Entertainment companies were also forced to terminate their contracts with him. Only when his father became seriously ill did Seung realize he had gone down the wrong path. A sudden heart attack caused Seung to faint. He thought his life would end there, but a miracle occurred, bringing him back to life and back to the past, before he became famous. With this second chance, will he find a balance between family and career, or will he repeat the mistakes of his past life? Let's follow the story to find out. A tense atmosphere filled the room. Munsuk knelt on the floor, pleading with Seung, "I'm begging you, please give me a chance." Despite his sincerity, Seung responded coldly, "I already said no. Munsuk, my songs aren't something I can just whip up. Inspiration has to strike at the right moment." Munsuk still refused to give up, trying to persuade him, "It's 2 billion won. I sold my house, my car, took out bank loans, even borrowed from loan sharks. We've put everything into this album. If you don't give me the song, I'm ruined." Tears of despair streamed down Munsuk's cheeks. No matter how desperately he pleaded, Seung's decision remained unshaken. "Well then, go meet your maker," he said, a cruel smile spreading across his face. Just a few days later, the news delivered a shocking report. Breaking news: Mr. Munsuk, CEO of CNS Entertainment, was found dead at his home. The contents of the late CEO Munsuk's will and a recorded message indicate that due to the fault of Composer A. As soon as the news broke, netizens immediately speculated, Composer A must be Seung. He's notoriously terrible. I heard he's famous for suppressing others. And his romantic relationships are scandalous too. Since the incident, Seung has been restless. How did things turn out like this? Everyone called for a boycott against him across all social media platforms. Seung reflected on his arrogance back then. I should have given him the song. Now, there are even baseless rumors. There's a post accusing Seung of school violence. See? I knew it. He looks like a thug. He asked himself, what did I do wrong? Now everyone labeled him a murderer. As they say, misfortunes never come singly. Seung rushed to the hospital. As soon as he saw his sister, he called out, "Honey." The girl turned her tear-stained face to look at her brother. Seung anxiously asked, "There's no other way?" "What do you mean? Why didn't you tell me sooner?" The girl stammered, "I was going to tell you, but..." Their father, sitting by the hospital bed, signed with his hands to communicate with his children. "Why are you two arguing?" Seung turned to reassure his father, "We're not." "Are you okay, Dad?" "My deaf father had been battling pancreatic cancer for a long time. The cancer cells had metastasized. The doctor said he didn't have much time left. Ever since that incident, everything had fallen apart." Honey stood outside, sadly glancing at her brother. To avoid worrying their father, Seung and Honey stepped outside to talk privately. After the recent uproar, he could only tell his sister not to worry. He could continue composing under a new stage name. Whether it's causing a car accident, having a scandalous private life exposed, or being caught using drugs. Just lie low for a few months, and the public will forget. Honey softly asked, "Can't you just quit? Think of it as a chance to rest. Dad is sick, you should be here taking care of him." Seung firmly replied, "No. I worked so hard to achieve this talent, sacrificed so much to build this reputation. I can't let it all disappear. I can take care of Dad." He stood up and left. Honey was left alone, closing her eyes in frustration at her brother's stubbornness. Calamities continued to befall Seung. Due to the negative rumors surrounding him, the entertainment company was forced to terminate his contract. Seung was shocked by the decision. He jumped up, reminding the executive of his talent. "Director, I am Seung. The genius composer Seung, whom the great Munsuk himself wanted to collaborate with. The one who created a miracle with a hit that topped the Billboard charts for 8 consecutive weeks. It's me, director. How dare you abandon me just because of a fake stage name?" The director turned and explained his reasoning to Seung. "It's because, Seung, for a public figure, how you handle a scandal is as important as the scandal itself. What matters is how you deal with the aftermath. You couldn't even handle that properly, making things worse. No matter how talented you are, I can't protect you this time." Seung's face darkened. Since that day, sometimes I feel so breathless I can't stand it. Outside the hospital corridor, Seung asked Hane, "Can't the surgery be performed now?" His sister replied, crying, "No. Dad's liver function is too low. The cancer has spread to his liver. It's best to be prepared." Hane seemed unable to bear the immense pain, bowing her head and sobbing. "If Dad dies, how will we live?" Hearing his sister's ominous words, Seung angrily asked, "What are you saying?" At this point, Hane poured out her pent-up feelings. "I'm not saying this for no reason. Have you ever visited home even once in months? I only see you when things are at their worst. You don't even know what's going on at home. Do you think just sending money is enough?" Hane looked up directly at her terrible brother and said, "You're paying the price for what you've done." Seung stood silently, pondering Hane's words. How had everything become so bad? On a gloomy day, Seung sat on the grass, gazing into the distance. Beside him was a box containing all the music he had composed. "Dad, I brought this for you. Why do you keep listening to the music of your unfilial son? The songs of a son who never visited. What's so interesting about them that you have to be so curious?" Seung's face was devoid of life. "Dad, how are we supposed to go on? I blindly pursued success, neglecting my family, and now the career I worked so hard to build has collapsed." He stood up abruptly and cried out, "Hane was right. It's all my fault. If I had cared more about you, maybe you wouldn't have to endure this." Suddenly, everything around Seung went dark. He collapsed to the ground like a defeated man. And that director too. If I had given him the song, or at least laid low. He clutched his chest in agony. It's acting up again. I can't breathe." Sweat poured down his face like rain. Seung reached out as if trying to hold on to something. The image of his sister Hane, smiling brightly, flashed through his mind. Is this all my karma? He didn't know anymore. But if he had a chance, he wanted to live differently. Unable to bear the pain, Seung collapsed on the grass. Only at death's door. Did he finally want to write a song for his father? Seung's eyes slowly closed. A moment later, he opened his eyes wide in bewilderment. Thinking it was a dream, Seung sat up and looked around the house. This is... After being discharged from the military at 21, Seung hadn't even graduated from college, nor had he found a job. He lived in a small, rundown house, where Seung's family, relying on his father's meager factory wages, had been scraping by until he could make money from a good song. Bills for electricity, water, and everything else were always piling up. Seung's current savings were a mere 1.5 million won, from his discharge allowance and odd jobs. This dream felt too real. Could Seung have actually returned to the past? Although he didn't quite understand what was happening, he heard his sister's voice calling him. At that moment, his father and sister returned home. He decided this would be a good opportunity to lift them up. Seung looked at his father and sister. The first thing he was determined to do was to get his father and Hane out of this hellhole. The way out was simple, buying used equipment. Though much lower spec than what he was used to, it was enough to get the job done. He self-studied and created a hit song. Contrary to the detractors who claimed Seung was a one-hit wonder, almost every song he'd released in his past life had been a resounding success. The secret lay in his money-making code, in other words, his ability to create profitable music. Now, limited to free sound sources, he couldn't use his old songs. But it didn't matter. His talent remained. Seung began composing, drawing on the skills honed in his past life. After finishing, he submitted his track. Finally done, just as dawn broke. He wondered when someone would contact him. At LNS Entertainment, everyone was starting their workday. As they worked, someone suddenly exclaimed, "Who the hell is this?" Ingu noticed and went over to Dun. "Are you slacking off and reading comics again?" Dun quickly explained, "No, it's not that." A strange email came in. "It's a song by Seung." Ingu was annoyed. "How unprofessional. I've met plenty of musicians with bad personalities, but this is too much. Seems like an amateur or a rookie. Just ignore it. Rude people like that need to be taught a lesson." Dun nodded in agreement but started playing the track. Suddenly Dun exclaimed, "We can't ignore quality like this." Ingu listened thoughtfully. Judging by the way he quoted the average rookie rate, he seems to understand the industry. The song quality is professional level. Ingu listened intently. But the software used to produce it is freeware. This is either a hidden master or a professional pretending to be a rookie. whatever the reason for hiding their identity. After listening, Ingu told Dun to get the composer's contact information. Ingu wanted to buy all 3 songs, no matter the cost. Seung was at home when he received a call from LNS Entertainment. "This is Ingu, ANR team leader at LNS Entertainment. Your song is impressive, so let's arrange a meeting first." But Seung replied, "No need. Send me the exclusive music rights contract first." Ingu was surprised by the request. "If you want to buy it, it's best to transfer the payment first." Ingu was irritated. This Seung guy seemed difficult from the email. But he agreed to Seung's request. "In that case, please refer to the email you sent for details." Before he could finish, the call was disconnected. Then a notification pinged on his phone. Ingu's jaw dropped as he read it. Seung had promptly sent his account number, bank, and account holder name. Ingu felt this was not going to be easy. A moment later, Seung's phone notified him of a successful transfer. With the money in hand, Seung paid off all the bills with the royalties and explained the whole story to his father and Hane. Afterward, he bought a feast for the family. Hane's eyes lit up at the sight of fried chicken, spicy rice cakes, and burgers, all the things she craved. "What's the special occasion, Appa?" "It's a happy day, of course." Seung excitedly announced he'd found a job. But Hane and his father didn't seem very happy. "Don't tell me you're doing dangerous manual labor again." They didn't want him risking his safety. Seung explained it wasn't dangerous work. "I just suddenly discovered I have an amazing talent." He played the demo he made. Hane was astonished. "You mean you composed this yourself and sold it to a major entertainment company?" She turned and praised him effusively. "My brother suddenly became a musical genius overnight? That's amazing. But also annoying." Seung wasn't sure if she was happy or not. In short, Seung had found his money-making talent, and he was very satisfied with it, as he would earn even more in the future. So consider all the bad things in the past, and now it's time to enjoy happiness. Seung told his father to stop working hard at the factory, and Hane should just focus on her studies. Seung's words deeply touched Hane. Nothing could replace family. That was the motto that Seung, the man reborn, always kept in his heart. Seung thought he should use the money he received to upgrade his equipment. No need to waste his money, soon that company will offer an exclusive contract. And then he couldn't refuse. Just then there was a phone call from a stranger. Seung thought it was from the entertainment company, so he happily picked up. But he didn't know what he saw on his phone that he was so surprised. At LNS Entertainment, in a department's office, an employee spoke about Seung's case. An anonymous composer using free sound sources is creating high-quality tracks, sending 30-second demos and asking for 3 million won. Hoo-hun, the department head of management, spoke up. "He's not an ordinary person. We should keep an eye on him. It's been a long time since I've had a good feeling about a deal like this. He's at least competent, if not a hidden professional." Hoo-hun called Seung, starting with a greeting. But there was no answer. Seung seemed to have declined the call. Hoo-hun was furious. How dare he refuse him? Unable to reach him, Hoo-hun sent a text message, mainly to make a mutually beneficial offer. Seung felt the work was not a problem but looked quite sad, not knowing what had happened. A moment later, Hoo-hun's phone received a reply. He couldn't understand Seung's message. Hoo-hun showed his phone to the other person, and said, "Is this guy a farmer?" Seung's message read, "Someone stole all the radishes I worked hard to grow all night, so I'm sad. Call back later." Seung suddenly put down his headset. A game was displayed on his screen, and someone had taken all the radishes he had painstakingly grown overnight. Hoo-hun was listing some relevant information they received from Seung, whose stage name is HS. Hoo-hun wondered if Seung didn't know who he was or why he didn't answer his call. However, Hoo-hun decided to call again. Seung answered, "Hello?" Hoo-hun offered his condolences about the radish theft. Hoo-hun tried to be as polite as possible but was annoyed by Seung's responses. He offered sympathy, but Seung said he was fine. Seung said, "I went fishing on the island for a bit to clear my head." "What's up?" Hoo-hun replied, "I'd like to offer you an exclusive contract. Instead of talking over the phone, I'd like to meet in person to discuss the details. When will you be back in Seoul?" Seung casually replied, "I'm in Seoul." Hoo-hun was confused. "You can't fish in Seoul." Seung suggested, "I don't want to waste time, so let's rearrange the terms and meet tomorrow. How about 5 p.m. at a cafe?" The female employee overheard their conversation. Hu-hun thought, an eccentric recluse who grows vegetables and fishes in the Han River. Probably a long-haired, bearded guy. As Hu-hun waited at the cafe, someone approached and asked, "Excuse me, are you from LNS?" Hu-hun was taken aback by Seung's appearance. Seung looked completely different from what Hu-hun had imagined, leaving him surprised and flustered. Hu-hun started the conversation. "As I mentioned before, I'm here to offer you an exclusive contract with LNS Entertainment. Please take a look. If there's anything you're not satisfied with, just let me know." Seung carefully reviewed the contract. Hu-hun thought Seung was even younger than he'd imagined. Just a little flattery would do the trick. Seung looked over the contract and said, "Although it's better than the industry average, there are still many unfavorable terms." Hu-hun was surprised. "Unless there's a natural disaster, the contract can't be terminated." "You won't terminate it anyway, right?" Hu-hun hastily explained. Seung continued, "In the above case, the ownership period of the work will be adjusted after agreement. If I don't agree, they'll use the legal team to pressure me. The contract period is too long, and the profit-sharing ratio isn't reasonable either. Overall, it lacks sincerity." Seung disagreed with the terms, even though it was considered a good deal for a rookie. But Seung wouldn't accept it. "I want to be treated according to my ability, not my experience." Seung turned to leave but gave the company one more chance. "Prepare a new contract by tomorrow." Hu-hun was furious but could only agree to the demand. The next day, Hu-hun met Seung again to discuss the contract, but his attitude was different this time. Seung carefully reviewed the revised contract. He spoke up, "You've amended the points I mentioned, but it still lacks sincerity." Hu-hun's face stiffened. Seung clarified, "A major management company like LNS has no reason to cling to a rookie composer like me, and conversely, I don't necessarily have to choose LNS. Let's say we tried, but it didn't work out." Seung started to get up to leave, but Hu-hun grabbed his arm. Hu-hun tried to hold him back. "Just tell me your conditions." Seung finally spoke, and Hu-hun held his breath. Seung turned back with a bright face and asked, "Would this be possible?" He requested 5 special conditions tailored just for him. Hu-hun's expression turned serious as he reviewed the conditions. Seung asked, "Is there a problem?" Hu-hun thought, "This guy is a professional, all right." The demands were a bit excessive but within reason. He double-checked clause number 4, "Are you sure this is enough? No need to increase it?" Seung took a sip of water and replied, "Anyway, my value will increase a lot in a year. We'll renegotiate then." Hu-hun agreed to his terms. And they signed the contract, agreeing to cooperate for the next year. The following day marked Seung's start at LNS Entertainment headquarters. As per his special clause, he was provided with a private recording studio. Today, he came to receive his employee ID and business card. Seung took a tour of the company. The office was beautiful and clean, and it even had a spacious rooftop. Hu-hun showed Seung around, highlighting their most important amenity, the cafeteria. But Seung wasn't interested. He wanted to see the recording studio more than the cafeteria, much to Hu-hun's inner annoyance. Hu-hun led Seung to his studio. As they entered, they heard shouting. Hu-hun hadn't realized someone was recording inside. He introduced the company's new composer, Seung. It had been so long that he almost didn't recognize the person sitting there. Chu Chi-tae. In his past life they weren't close, but Seung remembered him as someone talented and reputable. The two shook hands and greeted each other warmly. Then Seung looked at the person inside the recording booth. He seemed to have met her earlier. When Seung was touring the company, which was comparable in size to the one he'd worked at before, a girl had walked up behind him and loudly asked if he was a staff member or a trainee. Seung turned and curtly replied, "Staff." The red-haired girl had scoffed, "What? So young. I thought you were a trainee. Turns out you're a staff member? Watch your mouth." "Do you know who I am?" she said arrogantly. This girl was someone Seung knew from his past life. He hadn't expected to see her here. Seung simply replied, "Yes." The girl was irritated. "Yes? And no greeting?" Finding her annoying and loud, Seung decided to ignore her. He just replied, "I'm busy. Don't have time for this." The red-haired girl was furious. Seung walked away, and she yelled even louder. "That girl's name is Chien-ai, 23 years old, a former member of an idol group. Although her group disbanded after only a year, she later became a hugely successful solo singer. However, her time in the spotlight didn't last long. Seung requested to watch Chianai's recording session, and Chi-tae naturally agreed. Chianai was anxious knowing he would be listening. And then, she began recording. Chi-tae asked Chianai to do it again. Chi-tae kept scolding her while Seung and Hoo-han observed from behind. Seung commented, "It seems like Chi-tae is a bit harsh during music production." Hoo-han replied, "He's not usually like that." He also produced Chianai's last album, but the results weren't good. If the results aren't promising this time, her career will be severely affected, so Chi-tae is understandably stressed. Seung felt that this wouldn't work. The song should fit the singer, not force the singer to conform to the song. Suddenly Seung spoke up, "Chief, let me handle it. I'll produce the music for Chianai." Chi-tae was startled. Entrusting Seo Chianai's single production to Seung? Hoo-han replied, "Yes. Aren't you tired of managing her album? Maybe Seung is a better fit. Let's try a change." "Of course, there's no pressure." Seung volunteered. Chi-tae hesitated. "Is that feasible?" Hoo-han gave an awkward smile. "The release date might be pushed back a bit, but it's not impossible." Chi-tae mused, "Well, he's a rookie, so he needs a challenge. And who knows? This could be her chance. If it's successful, he'll catch the higher-ups' attention." Seeing Chi-tae lost in thought, Hoo-han asked, "There's no other way. You'll report this, right?" Chi-tae, startled by his smooth talking, replied yes. Suddenly the door opened. As Chianai entered, Chi-tae announced, "You heard right? Your album producer is being changed. Remember the guy who was in the recording booth with you yesterday? He's a new composer, but very talented, so don't worry." Chianai was shocked. "No way. Him?" Chi-tae, seeing her reaction, asked, "Is there something between you two?" Chianai said dejectedly, "It's nothing. I'll excuse myself." She walked out, leaving Chi-tae and Hoo-han confused. "Has been Chianai, where did the old Chianai go?" These were the headlines and phrases that had been following her lately. She had been in the entertainment industry for 9 years, once a famous singer, but her popularity had plummeted in the past 3. She had scolded her manager, "Why make me work with someone like that for my comeback album?" Making her collaborate with a rookie composer was like saying they had no expectations for her anymore. If this album failed, her singing career, and all her awards would fade into oblivion. She would struggle to even stand on stage and perform. Moreover, her contract would be terminated. Hoo-han and Seung exchanged messages. Hoo-han wrote a long message. Chi-tae agreed, "But does it have to be Chianai? She's your senior and a boss. Just some advice, think it over." Seung spent a lot of time at home analyzing and finding a new direction for Chianai's album. He thought her debut songs weren't bad. But her recent songs had poor arrangements, and the way they forced her to hit those high, piercing notes was unpleasant to listen to. Chianai's voice was strongest and richest in the lower mid-range. How could he showcase Chianai's unique vocal color? He sat at the piano, trying out a few melodies. At LNS Entertainment, Kim Hoo-han arrived at the office early and checked his messages and inbox. Then, reading a message on his phone, he was shocked. Who is this guy? It turned out Seung had completed the demo for Chianai's song and sent it to Hoo-han within 24 hours, even asking him to schedule a recording session. Assistant Ha and other managers were surprised by the demo. "The composition is amazing." Some were less enthusiastic. "Too bad. Should have given it to another singer." But others believed in Chianai's potential. "It suits Chianai quite well." Chianai arrived at the company and entered the room. Hoo-han immediately told her, "This song is really good. Just wait and see." Chianai simply nodded and replied yes, but she was worried, thinking, just one day? Is he recycling someone else's song? She went to listen to the melody. She kept listening repeatedly, unaware that Seung was entering the room. Dun and a female assistant were surprised to see Chianai like this. She was engrossed in the new song, listening to it over and over. They were even more surprised that the person who never showed interest in music from famous composers was now swaying to the rhythm. Seung was pleased to see her reaction. Hoo-han approached and asked Chianai, "What do you think? It's good, right?" Chianai gave a cryptic reply. "Strange." Hoo-han was taken aback. "Strange? How?" Chianai took off her headphones and replied, "Why is it so good?" Seung approached Chianai and said, "Ms. Chianai, we'll do a test. Sing the last part with scat." Scat singing is a vocal improvisation technique using meaningless syllables. Chianai was bewildered. "You want me to sing the song just now?" Seung said coldly. I need to check if you're capable of singing it. In reality, Seung had already calculated everything. The song was tailor-made for her, with the intention of discarding it if she couldn't sing it. So I need to be certain. Done, and the assistant nervously gulped, fearing Chianai's reaction. But after a moment of thought, Chianai said, "Can I hear it one more time?" Hoo-hun was shocked and surprised. Why did she accept that request? She seems to really like it. For 4 minutes and 24 seconds, the song played 7 times. Chianai listened and practiced silently. No one rushed or pressured her. They simply observed. Chianai carefully listened to every melody, every note, and realized that the song focused on her lower mid-range. It didn't need high notes or excessive emotional displays. Simplicity was the key to its appeal, making it easy for listeners to be drawn in. That voice. After listening repeatedly, she took off her headphones and said, "I'll sing now." But Seung stopped her. "No need. I don't think I need to hear it. We'll meet again on the recording day." Chianai was surprised. Seung walked out of the company coldly. Hoo-hun had to speak with director Nam-I. "I heard you assigned the production of Chianai's single to the new composer. Did Chitae request that?" Hoo-hun nervously replied, "No, sir." Seung offered. He was still puzzled. "Why does the director want to see me today?" The director asked, slightly irritated. "You know that the timing of Chianai's single release isn't very favorable." "Right." Hoo-hun replied, "Yes, I know." Director Nam-I continued, "If this album doesn't break even, our contract with Chianai will be terminated. I really don't like risky ventures. So I want Chitae and Seung to co-produce this project." The director's face showed his assertive and decisive nature. It would be much better if they both worked on it. Hoo-hun bowed his head dejectedly. "I'll talk to them." The next day, he met with Seung. But Seung immediately and seriously refused. "I disagree." He explained to Hoo-hun, "I'll choose the instruments, write the score, and play the music myself. I don't want anyone else interfering." Hoo-hun tried to reason with him. "Chianai's career depends on this album. You're just a rookie composer. This is a direct order from above because of those concerns." Seung looked directly into Kim's eyes and asked, "You don't trust me?" Hoo-hun was speechless, taken aback by the question. He hesitated, unsure how to respond. Seung angrily stood up to leave, but Hoo-hun grabbed his arm. Seung said firmly, "Wait until I've finished recording, mixing, and completing the track. Changing producers has already pushed back the release date. A little longer won't hurt. If director Nam-I still doesn't like it after hearing the finished version, then we can discuss collaboration." On recording day, Chianai seemed to have a sore throat. Seung asked her, "How's your voice today?" Chianai replied, "It's okay." Seung said, "Then let's begin." He advised her, "I think you should relax your throat a bit more." Chianai immediately followed his instructions. "Like this?" Seung said, "Yes, good." Chianai thought, seeing him in the recording studio, his attitude is completely different from my initial impression. Very professional and calm. Time passed, and her throat became dry. She was startled to realize, "Calm my ass. We've been recording for 5 hours straight." Finally, Seung allowed her a break. "But take care of your voice." Chianai was panting from exhaustion. She collapsed on the sofa and exclaimed, "I'm so tired." Then she immediately corrected herself. "No, I'm not tired at all. From the first time I heard it, I knew this was my song. The song that only I can sing. Maybe this single will be a huge success." Hoo-hun suddenly arrived at the studio and was surprised by the sight before him, a table laden with food containers. "What's going on? Seung, you stayed up all night in the studio?" Seung, engrossed in his work, simply replied, "As you can see." A faint voice piped up. It was Chianai. "Quiet, Chief Kim. Don't you know basic recording studio etiquette?" Hoo-hun was even more astonished to see Chianai's state. "Chianai, you slept here too?" Seung told her, "Chianai, wake up. We still have to record." Chianai groaned. "But it's only been 20 minutes. Hoo-hun, seeing their productivity, told Seung, "Take it easy. The schedule isn't that tight. Get some rest." He was actually feeling happy and pleased, observing them work. But Chianai, who's usually grumpy during all-nighters, is obediently listening to him. Maybe it's best to leave them alone. Hoo-hun was quite satisfied with their teamwork. Chianai's single release day arrived, but the headlines were all about others. Bola's comeback. Bola's pre-orders for their 7th mini-album surpassed 2 million copies, aiming for new heights. There were also headlines about Gong Haidu, such as Haidu's single release to reciprocate fans' love, and Monster Rookie 9 Star's debut showcase video goes viral, topping music charts. It turned out that the popular boy group Bola belonged to On Entertainment, and the rookie group 9 Stars belonged to MK Entertainment. Both debuted simultaneously, followed by the comeback of LK Entertainment's representative singer. It was fierce and dramatic competition. All the headlines and articles were about these artists. Chiana was saddened because her own news was nowhere to be found. She sat dejectedly when someone came to announce, Chiana's song will be released in 1 minute. However, there were many things Chiana hadn't anticipated. Antis are also fans. Chiana's antis had liked her song, unexpectedly boosting it on the charts. After performing the title track Go, Churd on the music show Music Core and other programs, the song entered the top 50 on domestic online music charts. This was a welcome result for the company. Woo Han invited Seung to lunch in the company cafeteria. This is a good start. Don't be greedy, and don't pressure yourself. The company is very satisfied with this result. Seung simply replied, I know. I don't need to pressure myself. Woo Han was confused. Seung bluntly stated, I told you, the rest is up to the company. If the song stops here, that's their limit. Woo Han said, slightly saddened, I just wanted to comfort you, and you're so cold. Seung quickly explained, oh, it's not about work. I'm having some trouble. My radish business ventures failed. Big losses. The blonde assistant rushed over. Chief. You're here? Woo Han, seeing her urgency, asked, what's all the commotion? She said breathlessly, do you know the advertising company DNI? They just called. It's about a commercial. They want to use GNI's song Walking Together. Woo Han was stunned. The song had never charted because it wasn't promoted on music shows. How could it be picked for a commercial? The assistant urged him, they said it's urgent and they need a quick response. Woo Han immediately stood up, abandoning his lunch. He put on his jacket. The contract has arrived. Let's go review it. Despite his haste, he told Seung, you eat. Seung was dumbfounded, wondering what was happening. If it's a DNI commercial, the song will definitely benefit greatly. A good song will shine. I'm the type of person who believes in that. GNI's song will become popular someday. I should congratulate her. It doesn't really have anything to do with me, anyway. One day, GNI handed Seung a car key. I just wanted to comfortably sing this song. We'll be seeing each other often outside of work anyway. Seung's face was blank. Woo Han was tearing his hair out. What now? D&I's advertising campaign created a huge buzz. Hundreds of comments appeared under the commercial video. After watching this, I want to travel with my mom. Others asked about the song Walking Together. The Go, Churd MV reached 1.9 million views in just 2 weeks. Headlines proclaimed, Diva's return. Co GNI's Walking Together climbs the charts. All the songs on the album entered the charts. Woo Han shouted joyfully, alright. He shook Seung repeatedly. I thought breaking even would be lucky, but this is a huge success. Seung replied smugly, of course. Whose song is it anyway? Then, fumbling for his phone, Woo Han said, oh right. I was going to treat everyone tonight, but I guess I'll have to postpone. Hearing the ringtone, Seung asked, who's calling? He held up his phone. The director. Come to my office. You too. Seung was bewildered. Later, in the director's office, Seung asked, may I ask why? He glanced at the director's expression. The director simply sipped his tea calmly. Meanwhile, Woo Han was internally screaming, silence is golden, Min Seung. Suddenly, director Nam I smiled triumphantly. Co Chianai's album has been a resounding success. It's all thanks to this composer. Co Chianai was able to renew her contract. Seung modestly replied, I was just lucky. The director continued, I thought you had special feelings for Co Chianai when you offered to produce her album. But you seemed calmer than I expected. Seung replied, I just wanted to play around with such a wonderful instrument. That can be considered a kind of special feeling. Nam I thought, interesting. Then he asked, Kim Woo Han arranged a recording studio for you, right? I'll arrange a private studio for you in the company. And this too. He presented a Mercedes car key. I hope this will make you more comfortable. We'll be seeing each other often outside of work. Woo Han thought, a private studio, a company car, is he trying to keep Min Seung under his control? He began analyzing. Refusing isn't impossible, but be careful, Min Seung. Contrary to his worries, Seung simply smiled, took the car key from the director, and said thank you. I can't refuse your generosity. Director Naomai looked at him and said good. I have high expectations for you. Hunne stared at her brother's Mercedes with wide eyes. She stood frozen for a moment, then shrieked, You bought a car? Seung had already opened the door, revealing the pristine interior. He urged his father and sister, What are you standing there for? Get in. Before his father could react, Hunne was already inspecting the car. Where did you get this? He replied, The company gave it to me as a reward for the project's success. But his father worried, They wouldn't give you such an expensive car for no reason. Don't be hasty in accepting. Seung led him to the car and reassured him. Don't worry, Dad. Just get in. Inside the car, he played Chianai's song that he had composed. Hunne listened and commented, At first, I was skeptical when you said you were a composer, but this song is really good. She continued cheerfully, Among Seo Chianai's songs, I like Walking Together the most. The melody is so soothing, perfect for driving like this. I have to add it to my playlist. Seung thought, I didn't know you were so interested in music. Then he told Hunne, Don't go bragging about it everywhere. She asked, surprised, Why? I want to boast about my brother. He simply replied, Don't. They say power and fame easily corrupt. I don't want to become like that. Their father just listened to the music and looked out the window, while Hunne continued to question him. What do you mean? Did the company say something to you? He didn't answer immediately, lost in thought. There are people who, even listening to the same music, don't share any emotions or thoughts. They just stare blankly out the window. He recalled the past and thought, For me, power and fame are just means to an end. My real goal is something else. It turned out Seung's goal was to continue pursuing music, but with family as his top priority. At LNS Entertainment, Seung carried a box, wandering around and muttering, Where's the recording studio the director arranged for me? This damn company is too big. Suddenly, a voice came from inside a room. Just trust and wait, okay? Just get through this monthly evaluation and it'll be fine. He thought, monthly evaluation? A trainee? Then he read the practice room sign-up sheet on the door. Chung A-rin? Hearing her name called, she was startled, and immediately turned around to question Seung. Who are you? How do you know my name? He replied, Oh, I'm just a staff member. He continued, Hey, can I ask for directions? Before he could finish, A-rin put her phone in her pocket. Yes, where do you want to go? Seung replied, I'm looking for the composer's room. She immediately gave him directions. Composer's room? First floor. Take the main elevator. However, Seung didn't leave right away. A-rin continued practicing her vocals diligently. Her voice was clear and pure. Even Seung was captivated by her singing. He pondered for a moment, then bent down next to A-rin's bag, and left his business card. Later, in the composer's room, Hu-hun held a list of LNS Entertainment artists, and said excitedly, Choose. Seung asked, What's this? He replied, It's time to start the next project. After reviving Seo Chianai's career and impressing the director, he'll agree to all my requests. Choose. Seung thought for a moment, then remembered the girl he met earlier. He asked Hu-hun, Chief, do you know when the trainee's monthly evaluation results will be out? Hu-hun was surprised. Monthly evaluation? It's today. The results should be out tonight. Why do you ask? Seung said, Can we decide on the next project tomorrow? A-rin packed her things, recalling the words of those around her. A-rin, what if you're wasting your youth on a pipe dream? I don't know whether to give you hope anymore. I want to tell you that you'll definitely succeed, to persevere, or whatever, but I'm afraid those are just empty words of comfort. It's been decided. You can clear out your things this week. In her dressing room, A-rin continued to pack her belongings. She remembered the encouraging words people had said to her when she first entered the company as a trainee. It seemed like only yesterday. Yet 3 years had passed. She reflected on her past, realizing that despite the criticism from those around her, she never gave up on music. Standing before the mirror, she asked herself, 6 years as a trainee, Chung A-rin. What have I been doing for the past 6 years? Suddenly, she noticed something. It was the business card Seung had left. Tears welled in A-rin's eyes as a flicker of hope ignited within her. HS? I don't know why I'm even considering this. It's just pure desperation. Recalling their earlier encounter, she thought, maybe this is fate. A moment later, the composer's room door opened. Seung, sitting inside, said, "Oh, pinpoint accuracy. Come to ask for my help?" It turned out Arin had decided to follow her instincts and seek him out. Seung stood up, a sinister smile spreading across his face. "I'll help you debut in a different way. Now, repeat after me. I am merely an instrument." Arin complied. Seung asked, "Can an instrument speak?" She hesitated. "No." "Does an instrument have a personality?" Arin repeated, "No." Seung said slowly, "An instrument should only produce sounds according to the player's will." Suddenly, Arin's eyes widened in realization. "Is that all?" she asked. Seung replied, "What? You want more torment?" As soon as he finished, she said firmly, "No. Just one sentence is enough to test whether you're an instrument without a personality. Just one sentence is enough for me to compose a song that suits your voice. That's what professional means." Arin stammered, "But, give me another chance. Even though you came to me in desperation, it's not like you know nothing about me." Previously, while working, Arin had overheard her colleagues gossiping. "I heard Seo Chien-I was almost dropped after this album, but a new composer saved her." "Who is it?" "HS? I only know his pen name. I heard he barely sleeps, like a dolphin. Only 5 minutes a day, then composes like crazy. He must be exceptionally talented to receive such favor from the director and the board." Back in the present, Sam broke the silence. "I'll let you know when I have a draft. You can go." But Arin hesitated. "Composer, I'd be grateful for your help." Seung replied flatly, "We haven't even started yet. Take care of your health." Arin smiled. "Yes, sir." At the LNS Entertainment meeting, Huhan reported, "The Japanese audience's response to Seo Chien-I is better than expected. Although she just entered the Oricon charts, if we organize showcases and promote the song properly in the Japanese market, we can plan a solo concert for this winter." Director Choi agreed. "Indeed. If she performs well in Japan, we might even reach the top of the Oricon charts by the end of the year." Namai nodded. "Proceed, Chief Kim." Huhan replied, "Yes, thank you, Director." He thought, "Excellent." Director Bach spoke up. "It seems the director's mood has improved considerably after resolving Seo Chien-I's issue. Chien-I, I knew you'd succeed, you were once so famous. But I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. You're so lucky." Director Choi muttered. Bach Inte is full of empty words. Directors Choi and Bach, in charge of management teams 1 and 2 respectively, were constantly competing. Even after becoming board members, they continued their rivalry by dividing the management department. Namai suddenly spoke. "You said you always believed Seo Chien-I would succeed? It seems your thinking differs from mine, Director Bach. I considered Seo Chien-I a complete failure in branding. I thought she'd never regain public attention and affection. But I was wrong. Minhun Seung did a great job." Huhan nodded in agreement. "So, Huhan, have you decided which singer will participate in Seung's next project?" Huhan hesitated. I'm still thinking about it." Suddenly, Director Namai's phone rang. It was Seung. He looked at the screen and announced, "This guy is something else." Everyone wondered, that composer? Unbelievable. A mere composer daring to call the director directly? He answered the call. On the other end, Seung said, "This is Minhun Seung, whom we met before. I'll get straight to the point. There's a trainee named Chung Arin. She trained at LNS Entertainment for a long time and was recently dismissed. I'd like to collaborate with her on my next project." The board members murmured. He must know it won't be easy to get approval for producing a debut song for a dismissed trainee, which is why he called the director himself. Namai replied, "All LNS Entertainment employees are competent. There must be a reason she was dismissed." Seung replied, "Anyone can produce a sound from a violin." Chio Namai asked, confused, "What do you mean?" Seung continued, "Just draw the bow across the strings and there's a sound. But producing a sound and playing music are two different things. Even the finest instrument, in the hands of an incompetent player, is just a noisemaker. Didn't I already prove that with Seo Chien-I?" He confidently added, "If you entrust her to me, I believe she can shine." Director Cheon said to Huhan, "He wants to produce a single for a dismissed trainee in his next project." Huhan exclaimed, alarmed, "Good heavens!" "I apologize, Director. Let me talk to him." But the director said, "I don't think he'll change his mind. There are two ways to control talented but stubborn individuals. 1. Give them a chance to prove themselves and win them over. 2. Eliminate them completely if they can't prove their ability. If keeping them is troublesome, and letting them go is a waste, it's best to make them disappear, right? Aaron was overjoyed, holding the contract with sparkling eyes. Meanwhile, Hoo-han sighed dejectedly. It wasn't easy getting his signature. Sang said you should have offered better terms initially. I told you about the profit-sharing issues in LNS Entertainment's contracts. Hoo-han admitted yes, it's all my fault. Aaron was engrossed in the new song written for her. This is amazing. Hoo-han told Aaron, congratulations, but don't get your hopes up too high. You'll only be disappointed. Aaron, focused on the music, didn't hear him. Seung said, let's try the chorus. Aaron replied, already? Give me more time to practice. Seung asked, you've practiced for 6 years and you still need more time? Seeing their efficient workflow, Hoo-han sighed, worried about Seung. Thus began the arduous recording process. Aaron repeated a single line dozens of times. Every time she sang, Seung found it lacking. No emotion. Again. Unclear pronunciation. Again. Off-key from the beginning. Sing it again. Exhausted, she stormed out of the recording booth. Can I hear the demo? I can't feel anything. Seung sighed. Hearing Seung sing the demo, Aaron was speechless. She was stunned. He sang with such skill and emotion. Aaron wondered, why hasn't he debuted? Despite working tirelessly through the night, the results were perfect. Although not yet professionally mastered, the mix was good enough for a demo. Unlike Chi and I, Aaron was a newcomer, so the company needed to promote her more aggressively. But something came up. During a conversation with a colleague, Seung was surprised about Coke's 10th anniversary album. Yes, because of KOK, the promotions department isn't focused on Aaron's debut. They're putting all their effort into the comeback of our top group. Hoo-han was stunned and worried. Aaron's debut clashed with Coke's comeback. He thought, the person behind this is definitely that slimy Bak In-tae. He's scheming to undermine director Choi. KOK, LNS Entertainment's top boy group, managed by Team 1 under director Bak, was about to celebrate their 10th anniversary. But they had focused on promoting in Japan for so long, frustrating domestic fans. Starving a boy group's fanbase like that. It's all to suppress us. I'm sorry, Chief, but there's nothing we can do in the promotions department. Hoo-han thought, there has to be a way. Aaron's debut clashed with Coke's comeback. Seung said, we can't delay Coke's comeback just to focus on her promotion. A good song will become popular on its own, otherwise it's just tough luck. He asked Seung, aren't you worried? Seung smiled. Do I look worried? I find this interesting. Coke's upcoming 10th anniversary album is predicted to dominate the charts, from number 1 to 5. It'll be the best album of the year, maybe even the best album of all time. In my past life, I miss witnessing that because I hadn't debuted yet. I never thought I'd see a clash like this. Hoo-han hit the back of Seung's head. You can still laugh? Aaron is on the brink. How can you say that? Seung replied, I mean, it's not that I find it funny. Forget it. Just do your job well. Whatever the outcome, it's the company's responsibility, not yours. Seung smirked. Then he casually replied, of course. A voice called from behind, Chief Kim. Hoo-han was surprised. Director Bak? He bowed. Hello, sir? Bak asked, who's this next to you? He replied, this is Seung. It's Director Bak In-tae. Greet him. Bak glanced over. Seung quickly bowed. Bak assessed him silently. Young and handsome. A trainee? Suddenly, Hoo-han's phone rang. Excuse me, Director. I have an appointment outside. I'll see you later. He put a hand on Seung's shoulder and whispered, stay in the recording studio. Got it? Seung made a non-committal sound. Hoo-han glared at him. Answer properly. Bak thought, they seem close. Not a trainee? Seung, Hyun Seung. He recalled Namaya's words. I underestimated you. There are two ways to control talented but stubborn individuals. He quickly deduced Seung's identity. So, he's HS. I was curious about you after hearing the director's praise. He broke the silence. You're the composer in charge of Chianai's album, correct? I've heard a lot about your success, and I have high expectations for your future endeavors. I'd like to invite you for a drink sometime. While he was talking, Seung slipped away. Bak was stunned. Where did he go? Seung hummed a tune as he walked away. Bak In-tae gritted his teeth. I'll teach you a lesson. Meanwhile, Kim CP and another director were talking. Why did you call me here, director? I've helped you a lot, Kim CP, so I wanted to provide you with some important information. Kim CP smiled. Important information? Coke will be returning to Korea soon. Kim CP was surprised. But aren't they busy with their solo concert tour in Japan? He thought, this old fox is definitely up to something. In this situation, the only thing he can offer me is... He asked, are you suggesting I arrange for Coke's comeback performance on Music Bank? He feigned excitement. Of course. Just let me know their schedule. He thought, this is my chance to make a name for myself by staging a spectacular performance for a famous idol group. How can I refuse? The director said, Kim CP, you're a man of understanding. But then he revealed his true intentions, causing Kim CP to hesitate. Director, this seems too much for me. Coke's comeback has been moved to next week. Kim CP said, changing the schedule to next week is difficult. We've prepared the stage and everything. Besides, J-Super is already scheduled for the final slot. J-Super was an idol group from On Entertainment, LNS Entertainment's rival. I don't want to antagonize another major company. The director continued, Kim CP, you know J-Super can't compare to KOK, right? Kim CP replied hesitantly, that's true, but... Listen to me. I've already prepared an excuse for you. There's a rookie singer from our company debuting next week, right? Kim CP replied, are you talking about Erin? Exactly. Her. Move her debut performance to the opening slot. Tell On Entertainment that since KOK has returned from Japan with an album produced by top producers, they deserve the final performance slot. As for Erin's debut, make it as lackluster as possible. Tell On Entertainment that too. That way, you'll get recognition for successfully staging Coke's comeback. He fastened an expensive watch onto Kim CP's wrist. Kim CP stared at it. The director continued, both inside and outside the company. Seeing the benefit for himself, Kim CP smiled. Understood. We owe each other. Hoo-hun answered his phone. What time are you coming back to the company, Chief? He replied, soon. What's up? Erin's debut has been moved to the opening slot. Hoo-hun was stunned. What? But something's not right. A few minutes ago, the teaser video for Coke's 10th anniversary mini-album was released. And they announced the album will be released next week. I checked, and previously, the final slot belonged to J-Super from On Entertainment. J-Super is also a popular group. There's no reason for them to give up their spot to KOK. Plus, moving Erin's debut to the opening slot is suspicious. I think Director Bak is involved. Hoo-hun searched online, thinking, not only is Coke's comeback suddenly at the same time as Erin's, but they also get the final performance slot. Such underhanded tactics don't benefit Director Bak at all. Seung also wondered, why would he do that? Hoo-hun asked Seung, remember when we ran into Director Bak at the elevator? Did anything happen? Seung replied, he invited me for a drink. I pretended not to hear and walked away. He thought, because I thought he was trying to rope me into something. It seems something has happened. Hoo-hun said, Seung, keep your schedule clear tomorrow. Director Bak has interfered with Erin's debut. I won't stand for it. Director Choi greeted Seung with a beaming smile. Oh, you're Min-hun Seung. Pleasure to meet you. Seung quickly shook his hand and bowed politely. It's a pleasure to meet you too. Hoo-hun spoke up, sorry to bother you while you're busy, Director Choi, but I have a favor to ask. Director Choi asked, confused, a favor? Hoo-hun looked slightly uncomfortable. Yes, actually. A moment later, his voice was laced with frustration. Just because of a rookie composer's attitude, he resorts to such underhanded tactics against a colleague? Hoo-hun apologized. I'm sorry, Director. We should have handled this ourselves. Now we're bothering you. Director Choi said, it seems we need help from higher up. Hoo-hun replied hesitantly, but even the director can't resolve this. Director Choi chuckled. No. Someone above the director. Soon, their car stopped in front of the house of the person Director Choi referred to as above the director. This person was like the godfather of the entertainment industry. He had been active since the days of color TV's arrival in Korea, a senior even to Cheon Namai. As they walked inside, Director Choi explained, he helped LNS Entertainment immensely in its early days. Hoo-hun's jaw dropped. Could it be? Director Choi, sensing his question. replied yes, him. A kind-faced elderly man greeted them with a smile. Hello, Choi Gunsit. Director Choi introduced him. This is Mr. Lee Do-suk, former board member. They bowed respectfully. It's been a while. How are you? The elderly man, standing tall, said, skip the pleasantries. Gunsit even brought his protégés. You're not here just to greet me. Come inside. Inside, the three sat facing the old man. After hearing their story, his stern voice resonated. You're not children anymore. Why bring internal family matters here? He sipped his tea and firmly refused. No. Director Choi said, you've been retired for so many years. Sir? His voice faltered under the old man's sharp gaze. The old man looked at Seung, who was sitting calmly beside Director Choi. He doesn't seem very worried. Seung replied, I believe in letting things run their course. If the song is good, even if it clashes with Koch's album release, it will still succeed. We can't stop KOK from preparing their comeback. The old man looked at Seung with interest. Oh, he's sharp. Hoo-hun was startled by the old man's words. Seung replied, that's just my opinion. Then he asked the old man, can you help her get a fair competition? Recalling her arduous training, he continued, she's endured 6 years of rigorous practice. If this single fails, she'll never have another chance. The old man stroked his chin, listening intently. 6 years of hardship? Then he suddenly asked, do you play Go? Although unsure of his intentions, Se honestly replied, yes, a little. The old man exclaimed, delighted, excellent. Director Choi, bewildered, nervously called out, sir? The old man brought out a Go board. We'll wager on a game of Go. Seung chuckled. Wager on a young singer's future? The old man smiled. You're sharp. For you, this might be a life or death game, but I'm just playing for fun. This is just a way for me to decide whether to intervene. He looked at them challengingly. So, do you dare? Seung stared at the board in silence. The old man continued, if you win, I'll help in every way I can. Seung's eyes lit up. He replied with determination, all right. Go. In the quiet room. They flipped a coin. Do-suk played white, and Seung played black. The old man said, you go first. How many handicap stones do you want? Seung replied directly, even game. The old man was incredulous. An even game, with me? Seung confidently replied, yes. It's a fair competition. Directors Choi and Hoo-hun watched nervously. Hoo-hun whispered, Director, how's the game going? Director Choi hissed, why asked me? Don't bother them. Don't get your hopes up. Lee Do-suk climbed to his position through immense hardship, so he pours his heart and soul into Go. The old man calmly placed his stone. Seung studied the board intently. Director Choi continued, in other words, he's very serious about Go. Hoo-hun observed the game. Min-hun Seung, your playing looks decent. Director Choi folded his arms. But that move is a mistake. I would have placed a stone there to claim White's territory. Hoo-hun asked, what's wrong with that move? Director Choi replied, that kid doesn't know how to play Go. Hoo-hun defended him. Maybe he's just not good at it. Then he realized something. White deliberately lured him in. Go is the art of patience. Seung stared at the board. Then made his move. The old man frowned slightly. A moment later Seung said, I've learned a valuable lesson. Hoo-hun whispered, Seung lost, right? Director Choi replied, yeah, by a hair. Seung calmly looked at the old man. Too bad I lost. So you won't help us? The old man hesitated, then replied, well, I concede. Director Choi was stunned. Sir, you mean? The old man explained, at first, he pretended to be weak, making slow moves to lower my guard. Then he switched to a chaotic style, attacking relentlessly to disrupt my game. He anticipated my skill level and the moves I would make, then countered them. Even with the handicap, he only lost by half a point. You could say I was utterly defeated. A clicking sound followed. The old man took a picture of the board with his phone and laughed heartily. It's been a while since I've had such a good game. A few days later, Young Aaron's single was released. Initially, the results were unremarkable, but with Lee Do-suk's help, everything changed. News about Aaron was everywhere. Online and on social media. Rising star Young Aaron receives praise from top singers. Young Aaron's digital single Adolescence lauded by famous composers. A message arrived, if you want to repay me with a game of Go. Attached was a photo with the caption, always supporting you. Seung looked at the message from the old man and thought, more work for me. Hoo-hun, drinking beer in the background, said gratefully, thank you, Mr. Lee Do-suk. After that, he turned to the boy and said, you should become a professional Go player. How can you be so talented? It's unfair. The boy nonchalantly replied, Go is my specialty, why wouldn't I be good at it? Why should I choose it as a career? He continued, initially I only chose Go because I didn't want to go outside. Though he said that, inwardly he added, and then I quit because I couldn't find a worthy opponent. The music show is about to start. Director Park chuckled and muttered, Director Choi, bribing the press won't help you now. The first spot is usually reserved for singers from smaller, less-known companies to give them a chance to appear on television. The TV now started broadcasting music show. As soon as the program began, performances would air without any MC introduction. The audience below cheered continuously. And after they finish, they'll disappear without being mentioned. A moment later, Director Park suddenly jumped up in fright, his toupee flying off, and yelled, That's not Young Arin. On stage was a different boy band. Kim CP, a red-haired man, heard Director Park shout his name over the phone. Sweating profusely, he stammered, I didn't have a choice. I didn't expect the higher-ups to exert so much pressure. He heard the person on the other end of the line and retorted, What? It's just Director Choi. Why be afraid? The other voice replied, The pressure is coming from someone higher than Director Choi. Don't you know? It's Mr. Lee Do-suk. He's the pressure. On the music show, the two MCs said in unison, Next up is a special comeback stage from KOK for their 10th debut anniversary, and the comeback stage of the Soup Super and Vili. But before that, let's welcome the hot debut of rookie singer Young Arin. Hottest debut rookie of the week, Young Arin. Such a fresh face. It's that girl who's been all over the entertainment news lately. LS must have prepared thoroughly for this debut. The press is full of articles about her. How talented can she be to receive such high praise from musicians? They're probably just being polite. Don't they know about media play? No, but the practice videos from her trainee days show she's a really good singer. The boy chuckled and exclaimed, Mr. Lee Do-suk, the media play is a bit much. Arin walked gracefully onto the stage with a mic in her hand. Her sweet voice rang out, You said you liked me. Perhaps because of the awkward delivery, the moment she sang, the comments section exploded. What? What was that? Did I hear that right? That voice, is that for real? Oh, I'm not the only one who thinks so. The intro is amazing. So good. Unbelievable. How can she hit those high notes so easily? Like a dolphin. The way she interacts with the camera is so exciting. Wait, isn't she a rookie? It doesn't feel like a debut stage at all. So natural, like she's been doing this for a while. I thought this was a comeback. Turns out it's a debut. Practically a seasoned rookie. Then the audience chanted, Young Arin. Hoo-hun, watching through the TV screen, couldn't help but feel excited and said, Good job, Arin. 6 long years. That was the time it took for Young Arin to transform from an unknown trainee in the basement of LS Entertainment. Truly a multi-talented musician, able to play any piece of music. Not bad at all. Shortly after, the MC's voice echoed evenly, the first week of May's live music show is down to the final winner announcement. Let's take a look at the 2 strong candidates for the top spot. The first candidate is, of course, our KOK. And the next candidate is Young Arin with her song Adolescence. Hearing this, Hoo-hun gaped in astonishment in front of the TV, and the boy was also stunned, thinking, I thought KOK and the Soup Super would be the 2 candidates for the top spot. Young Arin, please step forward. Under the gaze of the audience and the other contestants, she stepped forward at the MC's invitation. The audience buzzed again. Young Arin's expression is so cute. Now she looks like a rookie. So different from when she was performing. But she surpassed even the Soup Super to become a candidate for the winner's spot. Kind of suspicious. Is this rigged? Really? A rookie who just debuted managed to do this. Admittedly, she performed really well, but to be nominated for first place on her debut. It's a bit much. The female MC raised her voice, stirring the audience's curiosity. Who will be the winner? Let's look at the scores. Digital scores. Ballads or girl group songs usually have high digital scores because people, regardless of gender or whether they are fans, can stream the music. As for boy groups, even if they can enter the charts thanks to a large fanbase, they are often quickly overtaken. Hoo-hun worriedly said, 2 artists from the same company nominated for first place. We're definitely going to be accused of rigging, even though we didn't do anything. Of course, KOK is an exception. Broadcast scores. Audience preference scores. And the total score is. The winner of the first week of May's music show is. Everyone, including the boy and Hoo-hun sitting in front of the screen, held their breath as the MC announced the results. Finally, the MC announced loudly, "Congratulations to Young Arin." After that night, discussions about Arin increased. One person wrote, "I missed the live music show last week and just watched it today. Who is Young Arin? How can someone be so beautiful and sing so well?" Another wrote, "I've noticed something. Seo Chi and I also became unexpectedly famous thanks to this single. Young Arin too. But what they have in common is that the same songwriter composed their music. Could that songwriter be Midas, turning everything to gold?" Below both posts, there were many comments. Suddenly, Hoo-hun called the boy, "Hey, Midas! Who are you really?" The boy ignored him and simply said, "Don't cause trouble." Hoo-hun continued, "What? I'm praising you. Congratulations. Everything went well. I was so worried because this project had so much going on. The director said he would adjust your contract." The boy froze for a moment, then muttered, "Contract?" He then turned to Hoo-hun and asked, "What about Young Arin?" He replied, "The contract we signed before was just a short-term one." "Do you mean you want to sign an exclusive contract?" Then he continued cheerfully, "It's already signed. Thanks to this success, she received many offers. She's probably performing at the Banlikwon Festival right now." Arin, sitting in the car on her way to the performance, thought to herself, "Even though I didn't get first place, second place is great too." Then she muttered to herself, "Just with a debut song, I managed to do this? It's unbelievable." The Banlikwon Festival is an annual music festival organized by Seoul City. Tickets to the festival are usually very difficult to buy and are often resold at exorbitant prices. This is a stage where any famous singer, from established names to rising stars, wants to perform. Suddenly it started to rain. People stirred in commotion. "Why is it raining?" The MC, wearing a raincoat, calmly announced, "Thank you everyone for coming despite the bad weather. Before we begin the program, we have an important announcement. Due to concerns about the safety of the audience in bad weather conditions, the performances of Mvili, Bin, Park Hunsu Thort, and Chin Chin will be cancelled. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience." The audience below was dissatisfied. One person exclaimed, "What? I can't believe it!" Another said, "I paid a fortune for these tickets." A group of people couldn't help but curse, "Damn it! Why didn't they announce it sooner? They know the masternims are waiting to take pictures. If they want something, just say it directly. We take pictures to promote them, and yet they treat us like this." A reporter thought grumpily, "The weather forecast only said showers. Why cancel instead of postponing?" Suddenly a sweet voice rang out, "You said you liked me." Perhaps because of the awkward delivery, Arin, ignoring the rain, sang passionately on stage. The lyrics echoed, "Sorry if I made you misunderstand, but I couldn't hold back my jealousy." The crowd, drawn by her voice, started to murmur, "Isn't she the singer I saw on the music show? She's really famous. What's the name of the song? It's so good. But isn't it dangerous with such heavy rain? It looks so risky. It seems like all the other singers have left." That's amazing. Arin felt deeply grateful for this opportunity, thinking, "Even though I'm just a replacement for another singer, I'm so thankful. Thankful to the audience who listened to me sing despite the bad weather. Thankful to the person who gave me the opportunity to stand on this stage, even though I'm just an unknown rookie. Thankful to the person who showed me that after the rain, there will be sunshine." The boy's family's plane to Japan was about to land. On a bustling street in Japan, Hane joyfully spread her arms and shouted, "Japan! Japan! Hane is here!" Her father, seeing this, frantically waved and called, "Hane! People are looking." Then he turned to the boy, "Han Seung, don't just stand there. Stop your sister." The boy replied in Japanese, "I don't know her." Although he was on a family trip, his mind was still on work. "It seems that Director Nami noticed me after I met Mr. Lee Doo-suk. He invited me to dinner privately. My contract was upgraded after I passed his implicit test. Thanks to that, I was able to get a better job." Hoo-hun, excited, offered, "Let me help you find a house." The boy looked at him calmly, thinking, no need. I bought a lot of houses in my past life. We had our first family trip to Japan. Hane wore a kimono and posed for a picture. She smiled and said tada. Then, she said to Sam, what's wrong? Do you hate taking pictures? The boy stammered. It's just, they say memories only remain in pictures. Then, they took a check-in photo together. The boy thought, we had a fun day together, forgetting all about time. After finishing their outing, the three of them boarded the train. Hane and Munsuk leaned on each other and fell asleep. The boy looked out the window and smiled, pondering, is traveling with family this wonderful? Why didn't I do this before? Then, he rejoiced silently, this is so nice. Scene change, at a record store. Seung held a cup and looked at the record in front of him, thinking, so many vinyl records. He turned to the other side and suddenly noticed something. He saw a man playing a musical instrument. He thought, a contrabass, a 5-string, no less. He stared at that spot, thinking, displaying vinyl records on the wall like that. He must be a music lover. The man holding the instrument had a worried expression. He stammered, what's going on? Why isn't it making any sound? The boy thought, it's probably a broken contrabass. He approached the man and said, let me try tuning it. The man asked, are you a professional contrabass player? The boy replied impassively, not professional, but I know how to play. The man anxiously watched him adjust the strings and asked, wait, are you tuning it to perfect pitch? The boy replied, yes. Seeing this, the musician thought. Contrabasses have a very low register, so they are rarely tuned to perfect pitch. Does he even know how to play? The boy looked at him, pointing at the strings and said, normally it's tuned to B, but tuning it to perfect pitch is more interesting. After finishing the tuning, he turned to leave. Before going, he said, well then, I'm looking forward to your performance. The man looked at his back and thought. Playing the contrabass in perfect pitch isn't easy. He took a deep breath nervously. Then the musician started to play. The sound made everyone turn to look. Everyone felt relaxed upon hearing the melody. The boy returned to his seat and looked towards the man. He thought, he's playing the pizzicato technique. I thought it was a broken contrabass. The man closed his eyes and felt the melody of the song. Suddenly the boy smiled and thought, I have to take back what I said. Suddenly, Taichi appeared and said to the musician, so, you don't need me to fix it anymore? He was panting as if he had just run there, then exclaimed, that sounds amazing. In Seung's father's dream, a voice echoed, God, I will live a righteous life, dedicated only to my family. Please give me another chance, a chance to atone for my sins. Suddenly, there was a loud crash. People screamed in fear. Someone's in the car. Munsuk stood frozen. People around shouted, call 119. Hurry! On the road lay an unconscious body, bleeding profusely. Suddenly a gentle voice echoed, you have to eat well to work, right? It turned out to be Munsuk's wife, lying unconscious on the road. People looked at her and whispered. The voice continued, is it good? His wife smiled, gave a thumbs up, and said, then I'll marry you and cook for you 3 times a day. Munsuk suddenly woke up from the nightmare, his face filled with terror, and screamed. The father screamed and coughed violently. Seung, beside him, worriedly stammered, Dad, are you okay? A concerned flight attendant came to check on the situation. Suddenly, an announcement rang out, our plane has arrived in Incheon. Arriving at the hotel, Hane pressed her face against the window, admiring the outside view. With excitement, she exclaimed, wow, the Han River view is awesome. She turned and said cheerfully, I thought the trip was over. Turns out we're staying here tonight? Both the boy and his father ignored her. The father worriedly, his hands clasped together, said to the boy, it's so close to home. Why stay at a hotel, Hun Sam? The boy, holding his suitcase, replied, but this luxurious apartment isn't like a hotel. Dad. Hane ran excitedly around the room and said, why is this hotel so big? It's like a house. I've only seen this in movies. The boy asked her, do you like it? She happily opened a door and replied, of course. I love it. When will we ever have the chance to stay in a place like this again? Suddenly, she was surprised to see something. She gasped, covering her mouth with her hand, and said, oh my, brother? Hane's voice trembled as she called, brother. The boy calmly sat on a chair and said, I heard you. Stop calling. She pointed at the room, confused, and asked, why are my things here? She continued, my clothes, my books from home. She stammered, why are my things here? The boy opened his eyes and smiled. He replied, because this is our home. She was stunned by his words. She couldn't believe it and asked again, this amazing place is our home? She and her father enjoyed the view outside. The boy turned to look at them, seeing them happy and joyful. The father smiled, looking at his cheerful daughter. Back in the past, a friend approached the boy and asked, have you chosen your next project yet? The boy, playing a game, replied, yes, I have an idea. He continued thoughtfully, I want to make a solo album. He recalled his father lying down, looking at the lyrics with a very uncomfortable expression, and continued, telling my own story. The letter read, hello, Man Records sends its sincere greetings to your company. This document is sent for the purpose of cooperation between the two parties and requires absolute confidentiality. The content is as follows. Manager O, after reading the letter, asked, why did a document addressed to Team 2 end up with Team 1? Suddenly, the director appeared and yelled, what are you all gossiping about? The loud voice startled the boy, causing him to stammer, Director Park. The director angrily snatched the paper from him and yelled, if there's a development, you should report it immediately. How does this company even operate? The director looked at the letter and said, what's this? Man Records? The boy anxiously said, it seems this was mistakenly sent here. He continued, they want to collaborate with HS of Team 2. The director, with a serious expression, brought the paper closer to his face to see it more clearly. The boy thought, recently, Seo Chianai's concert tour in Japan officially began, and the rotten name of that songwriter reached a major Japanese record label. The boy scratched his neck, anxiously looking at the director, and continued thinking, Director Park is very annoyed that Young Arin isn't flopping as he expected. He'll definitely torment the staff for the next few days. The director looked at the boy and said, so Man Records is looking for HS. Inform all the songwriters of Team 1. The director pointed forward with a smug expression and said, prepare some impressive demos. The boy said in surprise, but Director, Man Records specifically named HS of Team 2. The director interrupted him, Manager O, what's so strange about this? HS is just a lucky brat. Are the songwriters of our Team 1 less talented than him? HS or SH, it doesn't matter, as long as the song is good. The director grinned triumphantly and said, especially for a big company like Man Records. From the past until now, whether it was in my previous life or this one, I was only focused on making money, chasing after the money-making code. But this album is a real challenge for me. Scene change, in a Japanese house. Two people were playing Go. Suddenly, a voice rang out, oh dear, I've lost. Sam said triumphantly, do you want to resign? The old man opposite him said angrily, the game isn't over yet. What do you mean, resign? The old man continued, just wait and see. If you just set aside the game for a moment and look at the wider world, you'll find a solution. The boy looked at him in surprise after hearing his words. The old man looked at the Go board and continued, life is so vast, why confine yourself to a narrow board? The boy looked at him, lost in thought. He said dejectedly, time's up, sir. The old man was startled and said, so fast? When I heard him say that, I thought he was being delusional. For me, Go is just a game, and games are only about winning or losing. Composing music is the same. He recalled the scene from earlier when his father suddenly screamed. He anxiously stammered, asking his father, Dad, are you okay? The scene of his mother lying unconscious on the road, bleeding profusely. He thought sadly, Dad is still here. He remembered the scene of himself playing the instrument and thought, tormented by my guilt. At that moment, on the street, a voice suddenly called out, HS? Who's that? The driver in the car turned to look behind him and said, he's a rising rookie songwriter from LS Entertainment. Haven't you heard of him? Duhui said, HS or LS? Whatever. You know I'm not asking about his identity, right? He rested his chin on his hand, looking at the scenery outside, and continued, an unknown, insignificant songwriter wants to collaborate with me, oh Duhui, on a solo album? What's so special about a songwriter's solo album? At most, it's just a featuring. He frowned angrily, gritting his teeth and said, just a few hits and he's already arrogant. Tell him to get lost. Scene change. Chaibo was in the recording studio listening to music. He said, oh Duhui rejected this song? He sat wearing headphones, his face somewhat serious, and said, listening to it, I understand why. He tapped his fingers to the rhythm as he listened. He thought, this is the song I've been searching for. Scene change. At a company, a voice rang out, so, today's meeting concludes here. Hu Han walked away, so angry that the veins on his face bulged. He thought, this is so frustrating. He thought, Director Park, a man willing to harm the company for revenge. He continued thinking, he doesn't care how his actions affect others. He thought, ever since I learned his true nature, I feel very uncomfortable every time I see him. In today's meeting, he kept flattering the director. Director Park clapped his hands cheerfully and said, thank you, Director, for agreeing to let us collaborate with Man Records. Hoo-hun walked faster and faster, his anger burning. He wondered, why does Man Records want to collaborate with Team 1? Our Team 2 has Manhwa Seong, a hit-making machine. He entered the recording studio and said, of course. The hit producer, Seong. Seong, who was composing music, turned to look at him. Seong took off his headphones, thinking, hit producer. Hoo-hun closed the door and said dejectedly, I anticipated that singers would refuse to participate in a rookie songwriter's solo album. Oh Doo-hui flatly refused. He continued, only Mr. Moon Byum-chai agreed to collaborate. Seong was taken aback. He turned around, bewildered, and stammered, really? Hoo-hun looked at him quizzically and said, what? Why are you surprised? He said, that's the person you wanted to collaborate with, right? Seong's face was a mixture of confusion and astonishment. Seong thought, collaborating with Mr. Moon Byum-chai has been my dream for a long time. In my past life, I considered him one of the 5 best musicians. He recalled when he discussed it with Chai. His face serious, thinking, and I've also extended several collaboration offers. Chai, sitting opposite him, took off his headphones, looked at his phone, and said, it seems like you've put a lot of heart into this song. It has your distinct style. Very good, it's sure to be a popular song. He added, but I think it will only be popular, that's all. He continued, it seems we're not a good match. Sorry. Back in the present, Hoo-hun pointed at Seong teasingly and said, don't tell me you're afraid of Mr. Moon Byum-chai. Seong closed his eyes and replied helplessly. Not afraid. Just a little surprised that the person I thought would never agree actually accepted. Hoo-hun laughed and said, all right, all right. He took a step back and asked, you thought he wouldn't accept? His expression turned serious. I thought differently. Anyway, you have an appointment. Go quickly. He's waiting for you. Afterwards, Seong stood in front of a door, his hands in his pockets, staring. He thought, I thought it was Mr. Moon Byum-chai, turns out it's director Cheon Nami. His gaze firm, he opened the door and thought, I figured the director would look for me after I decided to make a solo album. Nami, seeing him at the door, said cheerfully, hello there. He asked, you probably know why I called you here, right? He answered, to be frank, I think it's too early for you to make a solo album. He continued, even though you've had some hits, you're still a rookie songwriter and need to build your brand more. He asked, do you have anything to say? Seong looked at him, thinking, even though he's speaking politely. Nami picked up his teacup. Seong thought, but what he means is, if you can convince me, try it. He recalled, not long ago, he was whispering sweet nothings in my ear. Now, just because of a little disagreement, he changes his attitude so quickly? Director. Back in the present, Seong said cheerfully, as you said, it might be a bit early. But sometimes, the most non-commercial things are the most commercial. Nami said, you're playing with words again. Seong immediately denied it. No. He continued, do you know the story of the goose that laid the golden eggs? If you want the golden eggs, don't cut open the goose like in the story. He went on, but even without cutting open the goose, we can still keep it. Nami looked at him with a serious expression. Seong looked down, pondering, and continued, by preventing anything that might make the goose curious. Make it believe that the current barn is the best and most suitable place for it. He continued, just pamper it a little, and we'll get the golden eggs in the most efficient way. Isn't that the wisest approach? Nami looked at him and thought. You're very clever in expressing your stubbornness. He smiled and thought, but what you said makes sense. He looked at Seong, who was smiling, and thought, although you're young, you continue to surprise me. Suddenly a girl walked in, her face worried, and said, Director, I apologize for interrupting, but there's an important call. Both of them looked at her silently. She continued, Man Records from Japan wants to speak with you directly. Both of them were stunned. Nami thought, Man Records? They're collaborating with Team 1. What's going on? He picked up the phone and said, put them through. The voice on the other end said, This is Sakamoto Taichi, director of Man Records. Have you reviewed the document we sent you? The voice continued, Can we interpret this ambiguous response as a polite rejection? Nami asked in surprise, is there something you're not satisfied with? Please be frank. Taichi held his face in his hands helplessly and said, I clearly stated it in the document. He continued, we want to collaborate with HS. He added, but I don't understand why you send us such terrible songs. If you can't collaborate with HS, just say so directly. Nami was dumbfounded. Seung smiled and thought. Director Cheon Nami overlooked a few things. He recalled his father anxiously saying, Hui Seung, don't just stand there. Stop your sister. He replied in Japanese, I don't know her. He thought, I'm fluent in Japanese. So I understood the entire conversation. He continued thinking and he recalled the scene of Taichi running up to the man playing the instrument and asking, so, you don't need me to fix it anymore? Taichi, panting, said, that sounds amazing. He looked at Seung and asked, was he the one who tuned it? Seung rested his chin on his hand, turned, and smiled. He thought, I met the director of Man Records in Japan. Back in reality, he said, Director, currently, I don't want to be concerned with anything other than my solo album. For now. He continued, what about you? Chai lowered the phone, looking at him with a serious expression. Seung smiled triumphantly and said, do you want to make the goose curious? Scene change, at a music cafe. Taichi said, wow, your live performance moved the whole room. His friend asked happily, really? I guess it's because it's been a while since I've played, so I was very excited. Taichi smiled at his friend. He looked at him and thought, Sakamoto Taichi. He's the representative of Man Records, one of Japan's 3 biggest record labels. Very discreet and rarely collaborates with other companies. He stood up, walked towards Taichi, hands in his pockets, and continued thinking, not just LS Entertainment, but even I, who already had a reputation before returning, am no exception. Suddenly, music played from the speakers. Taichi looked at the speakers with interest and said, oh, that's it. That's the one. His friend asked blankly, what? Taichi replied, the K-pop song I've been listening to recently. And it left a deep impression. The timbre and song structure are unique, right? He listened to the music and thought, the song playing right now is Seo Chienai's Let's Walk Together. His friend looked at the speaker, hesitated, and said, I think it sounds just like other K-pop songs. Taichi looked back at him and asked, what do you mean, just like? Taichi continued, like a talented singer-songwriter created a song that perfectly suits their style. It blends seamlessly with the singer's voice. He added, HS, I really want to meet him. Back in the present, Chai sat on the sofa. Seung turned to him and said, it seems something's come up. Chai said, Hun Seung, you can continue your work. You can leave. Seung replied cheerfully, thank you. He thought, still trying to save face, huh? He stood up, bowed, and said, if you need any help, please contact me. He turned and said smugly, you definitely bought me a car so I could do that. Chai covered his face with his hands in exasperation and said, it's not about helping. He lowered his hands and said with a triumphant look, it's that I don't want to waste my investment in you, so I wanted to discourage you from producing your solo album. Seung thought, Director Cheon Nami thinks he shouldn't let his subordinate be so arrogant. However, he recalled, he must have understood the content of the conversation. Or known it beforehand. Looking at his attitude so far, I don't think he'd play tricks. He continued thinking, so if he doesn't agree to my request, I'll flutter around like a curious goose. He looked at Nami smugly, while Nami frowned at him. Seung thought, going to another company to release my solo album, instead of LS Entertainment. He continued thinking, this time, I'll indulge him. After leaving Nami's office, a girl suddenly said to him, musician, I've been waiting for you. You have a visitor. He was taken aback. A voice rang out, it seems we're not a good match. It turned out to be Chai, standing before him. He extended his hand and said, hello, I'm Moonbeam Chai. The music charts, a harsh and difficult system. A veteran singer, talented and romantic, grew increasingly tired of this system. As the years passed, he felt like the world was gradually abandoning him. Scene change. Both of them arrived at the recording studio. Chai said to Seung, Manager Kim relayed the message. I want to feature on your solo album. Seung looked at him and thought, in my past life, I was flatly rejected by him. He continued pondering, and now, what has changed? He asked, may I ask why you chose my song? Chai held a cup of coffee and said, the reason? He recalled, a while ago, I visited the Guggenheim Museum in Abu Dhabi and admired a giant glass sculpture. Sunlight streamed through the ceiling, creating a breathtaking scene. Chai answered, when I heard your song, I remembered that moment. Even though it was just a simple demo. Seung stared at him blankly. Chai continued, sipping his coffee, but I felt the message you wanted to convey. Seung thought, message? He asked Chai, so, does that mean you only sing artistic songs? Chai put his coffee cup down and continued, art has many different meanings and interpretations. I want to ask you in return, isn't popular music also art? Seung replied. People don't usually think or judge it that way. He continued, they consider them commercial songs. Chai closed his eyes and said calmly, I think differently. He continued, I believe anything that can occupy a lot of someone's time is art. Like that day, I stood mesmerized in front of that sculpture until the museum staff announced closing time. He recalled, when I heard your song for the first time, I listened to it repeatedly and pondered the emotions you poured into it. He added, young people today have a habit of constantly streaming idol group music, even though they might only be fascinated by the singers, not the songs. But if they truly listen, instead of just playing it in the background, that's also a form of art. He continued, however, the art I pursue has a clear standard, songs where I can feel the songwriter's story, even if I only hear the melody. Seung listened, completely dumbfounded. He looked at the older man and thought, his way of thinking is so sharp, unlike someone his age. I thought he was an eccentric artist, obsessed with finding musical masterpieces. So I was sure he'd have some preconceived notions about art. He pondered, but whether it was in my past life or this one, Mr. Moonbeam Chai has always been a consistent person. He smiled and thought, my feelings for you, a precious instrument, they haven't changed, sir. Scene change. A young man wearing glasses stepped out of the elevator and heard voices. Whoa, it's hot in there. I can feel the heat from here. A blonde-haired girl next to him looked through the door and said, recording sessions with songwriter HS are always tough on singers, but this time is even worse. The young man thought in fear, no way, I don't want to go in there. Inside the recording studio, Seung said, a little bit off. Please sing that part again. He put on his headphones and said again, sir, I'm sorry, but I want you to sing the previous part again. Chai wore headphones and tried to continue singing, despite Seung making him repeat numerous times. Seung said again, it seems like you took a breath too deeply. Please sing it again. The ending was a bit breathless. Sing it again. Your voice is a little hoarse. Let's try again. Suddenly, the man with glasses opened the door and said, Manager, I need to talk to you about HS album release. Seung, meanwhile, was struggling with Chai's recording. Hoo-hun turned around and said cheerfully, oh, come in. The man continued, it seems we have to expedite the album release date. Seung asked, why? Are this quarter's sales not meeting targets? The man averted his gaze and said awkwardly, no, but, do you know Chaibo? Seung, sitting and listening, turned to look at him. The man continued, there's a rumor that Chaibo will be releasing a solo album at the end of this year. I heard he's preparing very thoroughly. Now, singers planning to release albums in the second half of the year are all requesting to postpone to next year because of Chaibo. Hoo-hun listened, his face falling, and said, it's understandable. Chaibo is, he continued, the musical genius of the previous generation, the king of royalties, the hit-making machine. He's very famous because he often appears on TV, so those nicknames suit him perfectly. Moreover, he's a pioneer in establishing the culture of solo album releases for songwriters. He closed his eyes and added, it's a shame. Hui Seung's album theme is very suitable for winter, so we were aiming for the end of the year. Let's try to speed things up. Suddenly, Hoo-hun felt a chill behind him. He turned around in fright and exclaimed, huh? It turned out to be Seung's death glare. Seung glared at him angrily and said, Manager, I haven't said anything yet. Anyway, that's not the right answer. Before he could finish, he yelled in fear, no! He fell silent, staring at Hoo-hun. He turned to the man with glasses and said, excuse me, Manager. Hoo-hun said angrily, don't do that. Seung said cheerfully, I want to postpone my album release to the end of the year. He continued, the same day as Chaibo. At the 10th gathering of the Korean Songwriters Association. One of the guests said, Chaibo, I heard you're about to release a solo album. The people around also chattered, that's right, we heard that too. Tell us a little about your album, Chaibo. We need to adjust our schedules so they don't clash with yours. Hearing this, Chai laughed and said, nothing concrete yet. The other person replied awkwardly, is that so? But inwardly he thought, this old fox has definitely finished his album. Rumors of his album being released in December have already spread everywhere. Then, he continued, do you know a new artist with the stage name HS? Of course I know. I've heard of him too. A rookie artist who debuted with consecutive hit songs. Chni Young Arin. I heard he even personally discovered the talent that debuted Arin. Someone approached Chibo and asked, we're considering inducting HS into the association. What do you think, Chibo? He thought, go Sangchun, he's deliberately trying to provoke me by mentioning HS. The hot topic of the rookie music scene appeared like a comet. I don't care what titles HS earns or what achievements he attains. Because he doesn't affect me, who is at the peak of fame. However, Sangchun, you're right, Chibo replied. I heard HS music is better than yours. Then he's qualified. Sangchun thought angrily, this bastard. Then, Chibo continued, everyone. Does anyone object to inviting HS to join the association? Everyone raised their glasses together and replied, of course not. The streets were filled with Christmas spirit. Seung sat at home, lost in thought. What should I give her to appease her anger? Suddenly, Hu-han approached and asked, what's wrong, Min Seung? Why the long face? Are you worried because the album release is approaching? Seung replied, no. Seung's computer displayed, top 10 gifts loved by teenage girls. Seeing this, Hu-han asked, are you planning to give a gift? To a girl? Seung replied, yeah, I want to give a meaningful gift. Because this is the first time we can comfortably enjoy Christmas after a long period of hard work. Hu-han hesitated. You're not dating a minor, are you? Hearing this, Seung froze for 3 seconds. Then, he exclaimed in disbelief, huh? Suddenly, from outside the secretary called, Manager Kim, it's time for the meeting. Hu-han suddenly remembered, oh right. He said, anyway, don't choose anything. Don't do it. Now you're dating a minor too? I'm really worried about you, Han Seung. Seung was stunned, his mind filled with question marks. Then he said, I think you misunderstood. At the meeting everyone buzzed, did you hear that the director's personal secretary took the document from Man Records? Ah, you mean Director Park intercepted the document sent to Team 2? I know Director Park always acts decisively, but I didn't expect him to be doing such childish things. Hu-han thought, this is ridiculous. He stole our project and is now flattering the director. At that moment, Director Park suddenly appeared. The people in the meeting room thought, speak of the devil. Judging by his appearance, he must have been scolded by the director. Why are we meeting in the large conference room today? Is something important happening? The board of directors entered. After entering the room, the director pulled out a chair and sat down. He rearranged his documents. The people in the meeting room whispered, what? The entire board of directors? The director suddenly said, now that everyone is here, let's start the meeting. The first issue is setting the release date for songwriter HS's third album to coincide with Chibo's album release. Is this appropriate? Director Choi thought helplessly, so it's because of Seung. Those present buzzed, releasing on the same day as Chibo? Then, one of them stood up and said, excuse me, but was this proposed by HS himself? The secretary replied, yes, that's correct. Everyone fell silent. Director Park stood up and said, I think that's a reckless decision. According to the report, HS's album this time is a solo album. While we can't expect much profit, deliberately releasing it on the same day as Chibo, a musician known as a giant in the current music scene, is absurd. Someone agreed, that's right. I heard he's still very young. Does he even understand how the company works? Hey, Manager Kim. You can't even control a kid, and now we have to gather here because of him? Deal with personal matters later. I disagree with Director Park. Songhan, the head of LS's production planning team, spoke up. I think this is a fight where whether we win or lose, we benefit. Based on his achievements, I believe he's capable. He continued, immediate profit is important, but if we trust and support him, he'll never think of leaving the nest. Director Park stood up in surprise. No. Head manager Lee agrees too? He's always causing trouble. We should use this opportunity to put him in his place. Mr. Lee snapped angrily, Director Park, watch your words. You're insulting our musician. Director Park retorted angrily, our musician? Director Choi, it's because you're so soft that he's become so unruly. The director yelled, stop. What are you doing? We need to listen to the songs before making a decision. Manager Kim, I want to hear the songs in Seung's solo album right now. I'll inform the testing department and bring the CD immediately. The assistant brought the CD and asked, Director, do you want to use headphones? He replied, yes, let's do that. Woo-hun thought, the director is personally wearing headphones and listening to music during the meeting? I've been working here for so long, and this is the first time I've witnessed this. The director closed his eyes and listened to the sounds of Seung's new album. His fingers tapped lightly on the table to the rhythm. Everyone in the meeting room sat tensely, waiting for the director's opinion. Even Director Choi was sweating nervously. A moment later, the director took off his headphones and pondered for a while. Then he said, oh dear. I apologize, Seung. Manager Kim, it seems. Before he could finish, Director Park wore a smug expression. Elsewhere, Seung was Christmas shopping with his sister, Hanae. After choosing a gift, he gave it to his sister, making her smile brightly. He looked at the joyful Hanae affectionately. The battle between Seung's and Chaibo's albums is a battle worth watching. On December 24 th. At 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds, just past the cusp between day and night, Christmas arrived. Moonbeam Sung's song Dear My Beethoven, composed by HS, was also released. Christmas Day. Chaibo's and HS albums were released simultaneously. News headlines popped up. Exclusive. Hit producer HS shakes up the music scene this year. Solo album Atonement officially released at midnight at Kiki News Center. Songwriter HS confidently asserts this album is a work of art. I will conquer with music. Woo-hun trembled after reading the news. Seung said, Manager, I thought it was an earthquake. Calm down. Woo-hun yelled, how can I be calm? You're too indifferent about this, even though it's your own album. We're just doing our jobs. I compose, and everyone else promotes, distributes, and sells. Woo-hun growled, I'm fine, but if others hear you say that, they'll be very upset. The strategic planning team, the promotion team, the distribution team, the A&R team, no one is slacking off. Everyone is united. Since joining the company, they've never worked so hard. It's that picky and arrogant rookie songwriter who ignited their passion and determination. The TV broadcast the news. Songwriter HS' solo album Atonement was released on Christmas, but its performance doesn't match the full support of LS Entertainment. Netizens mock, daring to compare himself to Chaibo? Woo-hun was furious. What's wrong with comparing? Is Chaibo royalty? Another headline appeared, music critic tycoon Chansu. The era where promotion and marketing determined rankings is long gone. The public is becoming smarter and has more refined musical taste. He became even more frustrated. Chansu, that old man. He always shows up whenever our artists release albums. So annoying. Is he a beggar? Why does he keep popping up? All the company's marketing channels are focused on me. If I still fail despite receiving such full support, I need to objectively reassess myself. In this case, either the song isn't good, or it's too ahead of its time. My song can't be bad, so it must be the second case. At that moment, a woman walked in. Here's the album delivery. The next morning at LS Entertainment, in front of the building, was NBS Entertainment reporter Chin Sun. Looking up, he saw a familiar face, Manager Kim. Where are you going, Manager Kim? You've mistaken me for someone else. Wait a minute, stop. I said you've got the wrong person. Suddenly, Chin Sun warned coldly, if I reveal this, you'll be in trouble. Recently, there was a scandal involving an artist from Team 2, right? Are you sure you want to talk about this here? A few days ago, the leader of an idol group from Team 2 was investigated for possession of marijuana. Although they weren't an artist I directly managed, because we're both in Team 2. I felt like I aged a few years after witnessing the process of handling the incident. It took a lot of time to resolve. That annoying reporter got hold of the information. Finally, Woo-hun had to talk to him. Follow me. They went up to the company rooftop to talk. Woo-hun asked, how did you know? Chin Sun replied, I dug around, as always. As soon as I caught a whiff, I called the police, the prosecutor, and ran around everywhere. I worked like crazy, from the police station to the prosecutor's office. Hearing him ramble, Woo-hun got straight to the point. What do you want? Let me meet HS once. What? Is my request too much? It's just a meeting and an interview. Why are you so surprised? Why HS? Chin Sun stammered, because I'm his fan. Woo-hun cursed inwardly, fan my ass. Then he said, he doesn't like appearing in the media, so I'm not sure. Then I'll have to expose it. Go ahead and expose it. I only promise to relay the message. Let's be clear, if he doesn't agree, there's nothing I can do. Then, whether you want to expose it or keep it quiet is up to you. This bastard. Daring to challenge me. So authoritative. Chin-sun smiled contemptuously. Meanwhile, in the elevator on the 3rd floor. Sorry I'm late because of work. Manager Kim seemed troubled, so I agreed to meet you. Earlier, Hu-han returned angrily, he dared to threaten me? This? I'll handle this myself. Before he could finish, Seung interrupted, Alright, I'll help you. Hu-han was utterly shocked. How? The elevator doors opened to reveal someone waiting. Seung suddenly thought of something. Meanwhile, Chin-sun was in the waiting room. After waiting for too long, he cursed, he stood me up for an hour. This is a declaration of war. I'll expose 2 or 3 incidents at once, including the drug case. Are you reporter Chin-sun? Sorry I'm late. I'm songwriter HS. I'm Chin-sun, an entertainment reporter from MBS. Did you come here by motorcycle? No, I prepared hastily for the interview. Chin-sun thought, prepared hastily? You're wearing a helmet, not a mask or a cap. I won't take any pictures. It's so hot, you should take off your helmet. I'm more comfortable wearing it. Let's begin. What a strange person. The interview started with typical questions, from his debut to notable activities, summarizing his brief career. That confidence. He's brimming with an astonishing level of confidence. Chin-sun continued the interview. You became widely known thanks to Chi-ni, correct? Yes. Was there any particular reason you chose Chi-ni for your debut track? I just thought she was a good instrument. Chin-sun asked, puzzled. Instrument? The reason Chi-ni didn't succeed was because she didn't know how to play music. Actually, that's the producer's or songwriter's fault. What about Arin? I also thought she was a good instrument. The company was worried because she was a dismissed trainee, but I think she's proven her ability. So, the final question. It said you deliberately postponed your solo album release to compete with the famous songwriter Chibo. HS replied calmly, that's right. Chin-sun continued, currently your performance is lagging behind Chibo's. Do you think the situation can be reversed? Tell us about your determination. HS smirked. Scene change. HS interview has just been published. A female interviewer asked Chibo, have you seen it? Do you agree to bet your career with me? This challenge excited both Chibo and HS. Flashback. In the previous interview with HS, it said you deliberately postponed your solo album release to compete with the famous songwriter Chibo. Currently, your performance is lagging behind Chibo's. What are your thoughts? I'm not sure if I should call this a competition, because I'm certain I'll win. The situation can absolutely be reversed. I'm very confident. If Chibo agrees, I'd like to propose an account deletion bet. A music competition with Chibo, a career bet. Back to Chibo, the female interviewer continued, currently, the interview with rookie songwriter HS, who released his album on the same day as you, is causing a stir. Chibo, what do you think about this? First of all, I don't think we're competing, even though we released our albums at the same time. Are you implying that HS' career and ability are far inferior to yours? Time passed. It had been a month since Chibo's and Seung's albums were released. After Chibo's interview, public attention to this battle increased, and Seung's song Dear My Beethoven miraculously climbed the charts. At the office, assistants chattered, isn't this amazing? This is truly a miracle. But Chibo's fandom is so huge, it won't be easy to surpass him and take the top spot. The loser will have to donate 500 million won. Chibo is filthy rich, but for a newly rising rookie, that's not a small amount. The deadline is approaching. Director Choi, you've been scarce lately. I have many outside meetings, so I'm often absent. Isn't it because you're afraid of losing your talent? Director Park continued sarcastically, Seung is about to donate all the money he's earned. What are we going to do? I knew it from the moment he insisted on releasing his album at the same time as Chibo. A career bet, a donation. Why is he doing such reckless things? If he loses, LS Entertainment's reputation will also be affected. Better to be reckless than a thief, right? Director Choi immediately retorted, Seung is young and impulsive. You've eaten your fill, yet you're still greedy? Director Park, enraged, yelled, what? I just want to do what's best for the company. Who steals other people's opportunities for the company's benefit? That's called stealing. And Director Park, please speak politely while in the company. You look unprofessional. Director Choi closed the elevator doors. Excuse me? Hello, I'm Suchin, the interpreter for Mr. Taichi, director of Man Records. Then Taichi spoke. Apologies for intruding without an appointment, Director Nami. It's alright. The person you want to meet, is about to arrive. The board of directors had gathered in the director's office. After Sakamoto Taichi unexpectedly arrived in Korea. Just to meet HS. A woman said hurriedly, Seung, come greet everyone. He's been waiting for you. This is Mr. Sakamoto Taichi, director of Man Records. Sorry I'm late. I was busy. I'm HS. It's a pleasure to meet you. Sakamoto got straight to the point. I'm here to propose a collaboration with songwriter HS. This is a music copyright purchase agreement. We can meet all of your conditions. Seung took the contract and examined it extremely carefully. Meanwhile, Director Park and Director Choi waited nervously. Finally, Seung spoke. Thank you for the offer. Let me take a look at this first. I'll consider it carefully. The answer astonished Sakamoto. Consider it carefully? He should accept immediately. This is a life-changing opportunity. Is he crazy? I was worried because you're young and inexperienced, but you're very calm and mature. This is fortunate. I have an interview scheduled, so I'll excuse myself. Please think it over. After he left, Director Choi sat down and asked, Why didn't you accept immediately? That was a beneficial offer for you. Hoo-hun was equally worried. Seung, just a few news articles about you collaborating with Man Records, and you could beat Chaibo. Seung replied, That's precisely why I don't like it. I'll win without resorting to such dirty tricks. You're too arrogant. Win? What makes him think he can win? But I have no intention of rejecting Man Records' offer, Seung continued. I'll think about it after this fuss dies down. However, the chart rankings remained unchanged. Time passed, and the final day of the bet with Chaibo arrived. At the office, a female voice asked, Manager Kim, are you worried? It's fine. The charts will update 2 more times today. Hoo-hun just nodded absent-mindedly. Suddenly, he thought of something. Elsewhere, Sakamoto was in an interview. Man Records is known for pursuing a unique musical style. So, do you have any criteria for selecting a good song, Mr. Sakamoto Taichi? Actually, I have some dissatisfaction with the current music market. Could you elaborate? The current music market is flooded with similar-sounding songs because so many are released every day. Despite that, songwriters cling to the money-making formula and refuse to change. To break this pattern, someone needs to make a breakthrough. Instead of relying solely on machines to create catchy melodies, they need to accept challenges, like using live musicians instead of electronic instruments, to pave a new path. In your opinion, are there any current songwriters capable of taking on that role? Sakamoto whispered HS. Today, I came to Korea to meet songwriter HS, who I believe will become a pioneer. After the interview, a headline appeared. Music distribution mogul Sakamoto Taichi recognizes songwriter HS as Midas. Ikiki News Center, the head of Man Records, Sakamoto Taichi, is paying attention to rookie songwriter HS. Who is he? Dear My Beethoven climbed to the top of the charts. Announcement from Niat. Officially, songwriter HS has won. Chaibo, please donate the promised amount. Chaibo, did you think you would lose? What are your thoughts now? Do you have anything to say? I accept the results. I've also listened to HS music. It's all very good. If I have the chance, I want to bet against him again. Some fans believe the results were reversed solely due to the backing of Sakamoto Taichi, the director of Man Records. What are your thoughts on this? In any case, the result is the result. Perhaps because Chaibo kept his promise and cheerfully donated 500 million won, people were more interested in the outcome than the bet itself. Thus, Chaibo decided to consider the 500 million won donation as a brand-building investment. Although his revenue also increased due to public attention, Chaibo still couldn't forget this grudge. That hateful brat. Meanwhile, Seung thought, it's a shame. Although unintentional, I cheated. He pondered for a while, then let it go. Just consider everything as having gone well. At that moment, Chienai appeared. Seung, don't you know how to treat a guest? Don't you think you're an uninvited guest? You still don't know how to sweet talk, do you? Chienai suddenly handed him something. Here. Seung asked, what is this? Chienai continued, you always dress like a kid, always wearing hoodies. I am a kid. Hoo-hun suddenly interrupted, you two are always bickering. Chienai is right, Seung. This time, you should treat Chienai well. Thanks to her cover video on YouTube, the High Note Challenge became popular. How can you treat the person who started a second trend for your song so poorly? Are you sure it was Chienai? A good song will naturally become popular. And there was a note off-key in the last bridge. The end before the outro was also extended by half a beat, overlapping with the variation. You watched the video? Chienai asked. I just watched for fun. Anyway, you've gotten rid of the habit of tensing your chin when singing high notes, so it sounds more pleasant. But shouldn't manager Kim be the one giving gifts to the songwriter? Me? Why? He earns more money than I do. He's practically a walking corporation now. It was true. A year had passed since Seung joined the company. During that year, Seung achieved remarkable accomplishments. To exaggerate slightly, he truly was a walking corporation. Thanks to that, I've also gained recognition and the potential to become a candidate for a leadership position in the future. Seung, don't retire, okay? You'll forever be mine. A new day began at LS Entertainment. Suddenly, a shout rang out, "This is amazing!" A man held a CD in his hand, contemplating. So this is Seung's song? The melody lingers. The world is so noisy, and I always live in tranquility. Sometimes I feel fortunate for that. Hane returned home and asked, "Where's our dad?" On days I wanted to cry loudly, I buried my head and sobbed. Dad probably doesn't know. That's right, I used to hate Dad. Even though it was all the world's fault, even though I knew Dad wouldn't hear me, I wish I had told him I was sorry. Now I can only whisper the unspoken words, live, please live on. Although the battle between Chibo and HS had ended, the world buzzed with different news. Officially, Man Records and HS confirmed collaboration. Seung asked, "Director, why did you offer to collaborate with me? This contract is too generous. It's not like you're simply interested in my music." Sakamoto sighed and said, "A young man gave me the answer." Flashback, that day, I went to fix a friend's finicky contrabass, and a young man tuned it to perfect pitch. We exchanged business cards. HS, someone with excellent perfect pitch tuning skills, is Chienai's songwriter, whom I really wanted to meet. And the fact that he was in the same place as me moved me deeply. Sakamoto continued, "My youth revolved solely around composing music. I slept with the bow in my hand, my fingers gliding over the keyboard. And when I woke up, I continued jotting down musical ideas. Living like that, I can easily recognize those who share the same soul." Seung, you've also lived like that, haven't you? Seung thought I used to. Allow me to offer a piece of advice. This business isn't for you. It's only for me. If someday someone in this industry offers you a collaboration and says it's for your benefit, then remember my words. Sakamoto suddenly smiled. Well then, let's continue working. Scene changed to Seung's recording studio. Sakamoto asked, "May I ask why you chose to produce game music?" "Because I like that game. It's the soundtrack for Animal Island 2. Actually, as soon as I received the collaboration offer, I came up with the demo. Would you like to hear it?" Sakamoto was startled. So fast? Seung immediately sat down and played a short piece for Sakamoto. This time, let's combine it with the accompaniment. Sakamoto listened attentively to the melody. Suddenly, he noticed something and shouted, then quickly made adjustments, adding a piccolo to the drum part, making the song more profound. Seung asked, "Can you add the virtual instruments I requested?" "Of course. The song is a bit too grand, like a final boss theme. Let's remove it and replace it with an instrument with a lower register. And I think we should hire an orchestra to record this section." "An orchestra?" Seung asked. "Yes, I contacted a top Japanese orchestra before coming to Korea. They've just arrived. I'll have them come here right away." Seung was impressed. Incredible. Perhaps this is the life-changing opportunity the board of directors was talking about. A new day began at LS Entertainment. Seeing the gathered crowd, Director Park asked, "What's that?" "I heard HS just formed a fan club." "Those must be his fans. A bit noisy, but fans gathering in front of the company is normal. Let's go to lunch." "How unsightly." Meanwhile, Hoo-han was on the phone. "Yes, hello? What is it, Director?" "Manager Kim, have you seen the message I sent?" "Not yet, hold on." Seung's fan club. Director Park's voice boomed. "That damn songwriter's fan club is gathered in front of the company. It's so noisy, I can't eat." "He's throwing another tantrum." Hoo-han said. I apologize, but they'll only be there for a while. When their excitement dies down, they'll disperse on their own. I ask for your understanding, director. What? He can't eat? Why doesn't he go out and interact with the fans a little? Then they'll be satisfied and disperse. Seung? Director Park, you know Seung doesn't like being seen in public. Why are you deliberately? You're right. Fine, I'll go out for a bit. To keep everyone happy. Hoo-han was surprised. Seung? My only joy was drinking beer after work. But that dull life changed when I encountered the passion and sincere melodies of an unknown songwriter. HS will be down soon. Please line up and wait. I spent a lot of time creating a fan account and coming here. Finally, I get to meet HS. Suddenly, there were some screams. Someone was coming out. They were incredibly excited. But then, they quieted down. What? That's not HS, it's Super? A sudden scream rang out, it's HS. Now we'll start Songwriter HS mini fan meeting. Please line up. What? That's HS? Appa, this is a gift for you, I made it myself. Vitamin supplements, remember to take them. Yes, thank you. Thank you all for coming, but please don't wait here. I still have work to do. I'll take a picture with each of you, then please go home and listen to my music with your families. Yes. He's even more handsome than an idol. How can he have such a sweet voice and be so handsome? I love all of your songs. Thank you. Next. Appa, I like you so much. Me too. Next. I love you. Marry me. I can't. Next. Finally, it's my turn. A fan thought. HS said, give me your phone, I'll take the picture. Excuse me, HS. Could you take off your glasses for a moment? If you don't take them off, I won't leave. Just for a second. See? I saw it, but I couldn't capture it. HS mini fan meeting ended successfully. Entertainment Corner, everyone, let's find HS. From then on, sketched images of HS' face began circulating online. Seung asked, hey everyone, why is the orchestra so down? Because you overworked them before giving them a break. Director, have you listened to the song yet? Sakamoto praised, it's wonderful. Even though it's a game with a fantasy setting, separate from the real world, the song evokes a realistic feeling of the Four Seasons. The theme song for Animal Island 2, composed by Seung, revolved around the Four Seasons. Warm spring, the lively laughter of children starting a new school year. Bright smiles blending with the fragrant scent of flowers. Summer arrives, and the vibrant sounds of instruments seem to dispel the sweltering heat. Autumn, the melancholic sounds of instruments evoke the rustling of falling leaves. Winter, the frigid melody like pure white snowflakes. Just endure this cold winter, and the warm spring will return. Embrace hope and wait patiently. Hoo-han was also surprised. Unbelievable! How can he always compose such good songs? But each season has a different theme, so it's hard to title the song. Have you thought of a title? Yes. The title is Void. Hoo-han and his female colleague were quite surprised by Seung's title Void. Perhaps he had put a lot of thought into the song's name, so they didn't object. However, Hoo-han still had some questions. You mean? At that moment, Hoo-han put on his headphones to listen to the song. All instruments and vocals fell silent. He chuckled, understanding the reason for the title. That's a good name. A few days later, Taichi, extremely satisfied with the Animal Island 2 theme song composed by Seung, returned to Japan. Upon arriving home, he had Seung's song localized. And the song entered the top 100 of the Japanese music charts. According to the weekly chart rankings, the song he composed reached number 47. Many Japanese companies contacted Seung, inviting him to participate in producing commercials, radio programs, variety shows, or judging talent shows. At Hanea's school, during break time, all the students were enthusiastic about a music topic. I can't get enough of this song. That's right. This is Bomche's best song. But Bomche only featured on it. So whose song is this? It's the title track from that songwriter's solo album. It's HS. Don't you know? Hane, who happened to be behind them, was startled by the name. The two girls became overly excited upon learning more about HS. Do you think HS is very handsome? What? Handsome? Show me a picture. He hasn't revealed his face yet. There's only a secretly taken photo of his eyes. Someone posted a sketch of HS' face online. Seeing Hane, the girl called out enthusiastically. Hane! Have you seen this? A sketch of songwriter H's face. Insanely handsome. Since they didn't know she was the sister of the person they were searching for, Hane hesitated. She tried to change the subject but I think people are exaggerating. How can a songwriter be as handsome as an idol? Her two friends frowned, looking displeased. You never know. How can you jump to conclusions without meeting him? Oh, come on. Don't target my future boyfriend. At this point, Hane could only suppress her frustration. I told you he's not that handsome. Suddenly, a message arrived from Seung. The message basically said Seung had left his bag in Hane's room and asked her to bring it to him. Hane was annoyed, not wanting to be her brother's errand girl. As she was about to refuse, another message arrived that changed her mind. I'll give you a delivery fee of 500,000 won. Hane froze for a moment, appearing hesitant, but inwardly she was jumping for joy. A short while later, she stood before Seung's workplace with his bag. Hane's jaw dropped as if she couldn't believe her eyes. This is real? A skyscraper. Extremely luxurious interior. The receptionist kindly guided me because I'm songwriter H's younger sister. After being led to the elevator by the receptionist, Hane was even more astonished by the grandeur. Just then, another girl approached the elevator, causing Hane to rush. Wait a minute. Going up. The other girl was Arin, a top celebrity with a massive fan following. Arin slowly lowered her sunglasses, observing Hane. Noticing a resemblance to Seung, Arin unconsciously called out HS. Hane, meanwhile, was starstruck by the idol's beauty. Arin? Is that Arin? Receiving no response, Arin stepped aside awkwardly. At that moment, the elevator arrived at Seung's office. Seung, seemingly about to go somewhere, was waiting in front of the elevator. Seeing his sister with Arin, Seung was a bit surprised. You're here. Both girls simultaneously called out, brother. And musician. In the next moment, the two girls exchanged suspicious glances. Arin stepped closer to Hane and questioned, your sister? Why yes. Seung also confirmed that Hane was his sister, which intrigued Arin. No wonder you look alike. Arin turned to Hane and said, Hane, right? I've heard a lot about you. The musician praises you all the time. The siblings questioned each other. I do? When have I ever? You praise me? Like brother, like sister. Arin added, the musician even worried about you becoming a singer in the future. And that you've never had tutoring but are incredibly smart. And that you got accepted into a prestigious university on your first try. Seung yelled in embarrassment, stop it. Aren't you busy? Well then, I'll be going. You two catch up. After Arin left, the atmosphere became much quieter. Seung turned to Hane and asked, clothes, you brought them, right? Hane, remembering the bag she was holding, handed it to Seung. Here you go. Thanks. As Seung was about to leave, Hane remained rooted to the spot. This bothered Seung. He asked his sister loudly, is there anything else? Then he remembered his message. Don't tell me you're asking for allowance at your brother's workplace? Hane, feeling embarrassed, retorted, what do you take me for? Her eyes turned sad. Dad was very touched. He listened to the album and thought it was good. Hearing this, Seung's emotions stirred within him. Dad doesn't care much about music. He doesn't want to listen to music, and he doesn't want to face the harsh reality that he can't hear. But he asked me about the emotions the song conveyed. I read every word of the lyrics and explained the meaning of the song to him. Scene changed to a barbecue restaurant. Hoo-hun and Hoosuk were discussing work. Hoosuk complained, promotion is a long way off, bonuses are meager, and office politics are complicated. Honestly, LS Entertainment has debuted so many artists. They're living comfortably like stars, while you're still toiling away. Hoo-hun replied, they're successful because they're talented, so they deserve those things. You don't need to feel unfair. Director, what do you mean? The person talking to him was Hoosuk, former head manager of LS, currently the director of a newly established entertainment company. He's my former director. Hoosuk made an offer, come work at our company. Seeing Hoo-hun's surprised expression, he started to present some arguments. Our company is small, but our growth rate is excellent, and profits are high. We'll be profitable soon. Hoosuk handed him a stack of terms and conditions and tried to persuade him, we highly value your abilities. If you come to our company, you'll be treated better, commensurate with your excellent achievements. Silence fell between them, a heavy atmosphere enveloping Hoo-hun. He looked at the papers in Hoo-suk's hands, tense. Seeing Hoo-hun's hesitation, Hoo-suk cleverly added, "There are many talented managers here. As I said, you're one of them." Hoo-hun looked directly into his eyes and replied, "Then you must have another reason for wanting to recruit me. In these transfer conditions, does it include bringing HS along?" Faced with Hoo-hun's question, Hoo-suk didn't answer, remaining silent and thoughtful. Still not receiving an answer, Hoo-hun understood his true intentions. He stood up abruptly and excused himself. As he left the table, Hoo-suk said, "From manager to internal director, isn't that enough?" Hoo-hun considered this one of the traps to lure him, so he dismissed the offer. "You know it's not a matter of whether it's enough or not. HS is a songwriter affiliated with LS Entertainment, under an official contract. If I leave the company, my relationship with HS will end." Despite being caught, Hoo-suk still tried to persuade him. "Just think about it. HS is just a kid. I heard he's made enough money. You're an adult, just tempt him a little, and he'll be willing to compensate for the contract and follow you to our company." Finally, his true colors were revealed. Hoo-hun slammed his hand on the table angrily. "What are you saying? You know how complicated this industry is. If we arbitrarily break the contract and create animosity with LS Entertainment..." Hoo-suk suddenly changed the subject, asking Hoo-hun about his health. This unexpected turn left Hoo-hun speechless and confused. Hoo-suk said, "If you transfer to our company, you'll start as a head manager, not just a manager or team leader. The salary will be similar to, or higher than, your head manager position at LS Entertainment." Hoo-hun still couldn't regain his composure. He just stared blankly at the tempting offer Hoo-suk presented. Hoo-hun clenched his fists. He grabbed his coat and left abruptly. "I'll contact you later," leaving Hoo-suk holding his head in frustration. Once Hoo-hun was outside at the taxi stand, Hoo-suk cursed him under his breath, "Idiot." Meanwhile, at a roadside eatery, Director Choi was enjoying a bowl of hot beef blood soup when Seung spotted him. "Seung? What are you doing here?" Seung approached the table and said, "I didn't expect to see you at such a modest eatery, Director." Director Choi replied, "This is the best beef blood soup restaurant near our company. Why wouldn't I come here? Are you alone?" Seung picked up the menu and started ordering. "I was planning to have lunch with my sister. She came to visit the company, but she went to eat with her friends." Director Choi was a bit surprised. "Your sister? A student? She's starting university this year. Friends are everything at that age." Seung's soup was served. Director Choi casually asked him, "Is Manager Kim very busy these days? He used to reply to my messages immediately, but it's been half a day, and I still haven't heard back." "He is busy." "Busy with what?" Seung asked curiously. Director Choi paused for a few seconds, then called his name. "Seung, don't let Kim worry too much. He's already worried enough." "What do you mean?" "Anyway, please look after him a little." Seung was puzzled by his cryptic words. "Look after him?" "He always takes care of everything well himself. The Animal Island soundtrack project is still ongoing. Besides the theme song I completed with Tai Chi, I still have to compose 14 songs with 14 different themes. Perhaps because I used to love this game so much, or because it's my first time trying electronic music. Visualizing the themes and turning them into music is really enjoyable. I want to experiment with new chords and instruments, but why are they all DIY? Is this retribution for only focusing on making money, chasing safe chords?" In times like these, Seung sought out Assistant Ha. She said, "I need to do something silly to refresh myself, to find new ideas." Then Seung mentioned Manager Kim to her. "He's already left work." Assistant Ha was quite surprised. "Left work? It's only 2 p.m. He took half a day off and went home. He said he had some personal matters to attend to." "What matters?" "I don't know. The manager never shares private matters with us." Just then, Director Choi appeared. "Assistant Ha, there you are." "Director? Why are you here?" Director Choi said he had documents to deliver directly to Hoo-hun, so he stopped by since he had business on this floor. She reminded him, but Manager Kim took half a day off and went home. Half a day off? Then something must have happened at home. Seung was concerned about Hoo-hun's situation. He kept questioning the director, "Something at home? What is it?" "Seung, are you also looking for Manager Kim?" He replied, "Yesterday, you told me not to worry too much. Something must be wrong." Director Choi looked awkward. "It's understandable you don't know. He never shows it outwardly. Manager Kim has a sickly mother who lives alone. According to the director, he had visited Manager Kim's home and been invited in. The first thing Seung saw was a shiny sofa. What's this sofa for? Hoo-han explained, the new house has a separate living room. It's very spacious. The south-facing windows let in sunlight, and it has a neat rectangular structure. A sofa in the living room will be the focal point of the house. Hoo-han seemed very proud of this arrangement, but Seung was the opposite. He didn't understand what Manager Kim was talking about. Ignoring this, Hoo-han continued, we need to create a comfortable space for our parents to rest. It'll be very uncomfortable if they get backaches while watching TV. So they can watch music programs featuring our artists. Seung's gaze turned somber. He gently reminded Hoo-han, you should take care of yourself first. All right. I will take care of them. At the hospital where Manager Kim's mother was being treated, patient Hae-cha received treatment through a medical catheter 6 hours ago. Earlier, Hoo-han had met with his mother's doctor, who briefed him on her condition. The doctor mentioned a device called a catheter. It's a tube inserted into a vein near the heart. As I said, we need a second surgery to remove the metastatic tumor. Hoo-han asked about the timing of the surgery, and how much the second surgery would cost. Similar to the first one. Not covered by health insurance, probably around 20 million won. I anticipated this. My mother's cancer treatment will be very expensive, up to tens of millions of won. However, I heard I might become a candidate for a leadership position in the future. LS Entertainment is considering promoting me. Just a little more effort. Hoo-han entered his mother's room. The resilient woman felt relieved upon seeing him. Hoo-han, you're back. I heard from the doctor that you had chemotherapy this morning. Are you okay? I'm okay. A message arrived on his phone. It was from his landlord, delivering bad news. Hello, this is your landlord. You said you wanted to renew your lease, right? The rent will increase by 5%. Can you afford it? Please confirm soon. Hoo-han was once again at a loss. My mother's condition isn't improving. I don't know how much more I'll have to pay for her medical expenses, and now the rent is increasing by 5%? His mind in turmoil, facing financial struggles, Hoo-han hid his vulnerability so as not to worry his mother. At the payment counter, Hoo-han requested to pay for patient Hae-cha's medical expenses. I'll pay for the second surgery later. For now, I'll just pay for the hospitalization and chemotherapy. The clerk checked the information and announced, patient Hae-cha's bill has already been paid. Hoo-han was stunned. Someone already paid for her? Who? I'm her only guardian. I asked that person too, since I'd never met them before. He was a young man, tall, handsome, and very humorous. Don't you know him? He called himself a kind person. Hoo-han vaguely thought of Seung, finding this hard to believe, and froze for a few minutes. After receiving the news, Hoo-han was shocked. Who paid my mother's medical bills? Director Choi? Does he know about my mother's illness and my expiring lease? No, Director Choi always keeps work and personal matters separate. Then, Kim Hoo-suk. Besides Director Choi, he's the only one who knows about my mother. Despite thinking hard, he couldn't guess who it was. Impossible. He's the type of person who only cares about profit, not people's feelings. He didn't care about the hardship Han Seung might face if he transferred with me, and even exploited my mother's situation to persuade me. He's shameless. He didn't consider my feelings at all. Scene changed to Seung's office. Manager Kim, long time no see. Hoo-han asked brightly. I've been a bit busy lately. Have you finished the song? Seung replied yes. Animal Island was completed a long time ago and sent to the technical team. Hoo-han was surprised. Is that the song playing now? No, this is a new song I composed for spring. Seung's talent was truly remarkable. The theme song for spring? Just listening to it fills me with the atmosphere of spring. He excitedly ruffled Seung's hair. This kid, even busy with the project, still finds time to compose such a wonderful song. You must have been eating and sleeping in the recording studio. Right? Don't ruffle my hair. However, Seung still seemed pleased. Your hair's a mess, like a bird's nest. So what? A moment later, Hoo-han quietly messaged Hoo-suk Sr., is your job offer still valid? He immediately replied yes, still valid. If you agree, just let me know. Hoo-han quickly replied, you said I could be a head manager if I transferred. But if I bring HS, can we renegotiate the salary? Even if I leave, I want to handle things smoothly. Back in the present, Hoo-han said to Seong, I heard you received an invitation to join Chibo's Songwriter Association. Don't just stay cooped up in the studio. Go out and socialize. However, Seong flatly refused his offer. Hoo-han suddenly noticed something on Seong's desk. Is this a lease agreement? You just bought a house not long ago. Are you investing in real estate? Hey, real estate investment is a serious matter, don't do it recklessly. Seong explained, I'm planning to move. This surprised Hoo-han. Moving after just 6 months? Moving after 6 months? You've achieved amazing things in just 1 year. I'm so proud of you. The project just ended, don't overwork yourself. Then Hoo-han said, I'll be going. Seong asked curiously, so soon? Hoo-han quickly explained, your OST will be released at midnight. I have to check in with the promotion department. It'll be a success anyway. The Animal Island OST had been released for 3 days. Since it wasn't an album by an LS Entertainment artist, not everyone was paying attention. But for those who knew Han Seong, it was a big event. The Japanese audience's reaction was also very positive. Since its release, manager Kim had visited the recording studio every day to update Seong on people's reactions. He said, since this isn't an official release, we can't track specific data, but it seems to be very popular. This is a good start for a game soundtrack. Hoo-han was now extremely excited. You've worked hard. Let's go to the cafeteria for lunch. My treat. His actions confused Seong. Are you bragging by inviting me to eat at the cafeteria? What's there to brag about? He hurriedly explained, our company cafeteria is famous for its delicious food and variety of dishes. Plus, it's a buffet. However, Seong calmly suggested, let's eat at a restaurant today. I'm feeling happy. This suggestion deflated Hoo-han a bit. He blurted out, you're treating? What are you saying? We'll split the bill. As expected of a rich person. Scene change outside the company. Hoo-han muttered, is this the apartment you bought? You invited me to eat just as an excuse. Your real goal is to show off, right? To make me jealous. Hoo-han looked at Seong's apartment and exclaimed, it's really beautiful. His eyes held a complex expression. After a moment, he suggested, let's go in and take a closer look. However, Seong declined. No, if you chose it, it must be beautiful. Is that the Han River? Yes, this area is a bit far from the Han River, but you can still see it. The apartment's luxuriousness made Hoo-han gasp in admiration. Amazing! Do you want to live here? That's a silly question. Who wouldn't want to live in a house like this? Seong suddenly made an offer, then do you want to live here? This question flustered Hoo-han. Hey, come on, don't joke like that. Seong insisted, I'm serious. This made Hoo-han even more shocked. What? Being serious is even more dangerous. Don't you know that? This industry is complicated. If you keep being soft-hearted, you'll be eaten alive by the wolves. Despite that, Seong admitted something, manager Kim isn't a wolf. Besides, this is an apartment I bought for investment. No debt, just need to pay taxes properly. No interest. His strange behavior made Hoo-han suspicious. What's wrong with you today? Don't you know that the closer you are, the clearer you should be about money? Hearing him mention this, Seong affirmed, that's right, the closer you are, the clearer you should be. Then sign a lease with me, tenant. But Hoo-han was still puzzled. Rent? A salaried worker like me, where would I get the money to rent this apartment? Seong gently urged, look at the contract and decide. Hoo-han persistently refused. I said no. I don't need it. Find someone else. Let's go, it's time to work. But Seong didn't give up. Just sign the lease with me. Despite numerous attempts at persuasion, Hoo-han still refused. Why are you so stubborn today? And I don't want to rent, I want to buy. Renting is like throwing money out the window. Seong suddenly shoved the contract in his face. I'm practically giving it to you for cheap. Hoo-han read the numbers in the contract. 100, 1,100, 10,000, 100,000. He exclaimed in shock, 100,000 won? How can you be like this? Flashback to the messages Hoo-han had sent to director Hoo-suk. Hoo-suk had confirmed that the offer was still valid. Hoo-han was worried about his salary. So he mustered the courage to ask the director, what's the salary? This decision seemed to have troubled him greatly at the time. After a while, Hoo-han composed a new message. Can I transfer without bringing HS along? However, the director suggested, it's best if you bring him with you. I don't think HS is everything to you. We should meet and talk. Are you free this Friday? Hoo-han agreed to meet with the director. I once intended to exploit you. Do I even deserve your kindness? Despite this, Hoo-han still firmly refused. This is an unfair deal. I can't accept it. At this moment, Seung questioned, a disadvantage? Is it a disadvantage for your future? Then isn't it an investment? If you live here, you'll be closer to the company, so you can take care of me more easily. Hoo-han suddenly realized something. You mean you want me to bring you food to the recording studio every day? You caught me. Hoo-han seemed touched. This is unbelievable. He asked, are you a kind person? Then he looked up with a satisfied smile. Seung sighed, what are you talking about? He acted very well, but he can't. Seung suddenly said, Manager, if you leave now, you will suffer a big loss. Without your care, musician HS will not be able to reach 100% of his potential. And that will cause damage to LS Entertainment. After a few minutes of contemplation, Hoo-han agreed. I understand. I can't let my company and my musicians suffer. Let's go sign the contract, landlord. Only then did Seung break into a joyful smile. Let me start the car for you. Feel free to look around the house and come down later. Don't worry, I'm sure you've chosen a good house, so how can I leave you? Meanwhile, at a cafe in the city, I'm very grateful that you recognized my ability and made the offer. Director Hoo-soc replied with a smile, come to our company, where your talent will be appreciated. However, Hoo-han coldly refused the offer. After learning that Hoo-han had rejected him, Director Hoo-soc was shocked. What? Is it because you don't want to turn your back on Director Choi that you refused? I know you are a responsible and loyal person, but let me tell you, you can't survive long in this industry with that way of life. However, Hoo-han retorted, I know I'm not making a hasty decision based on emotions. So the director hastily asked, then why did you refuse? You need a lot of money to pay for your mother's hospital bills. Your mother's condition hasn't shown any signs of improvement. There's no promotion plan for you, Kim Hoo-han, at LS Entertainment, and more importantly, don't you need the money? Hoo-han said, I don't want to do something ignorant, pushing artists into a corner because of money. And thank you for your concern about my situation, but it makes me very uncomfortable. I understand my mother's situation and moving, and I know what to do, so please don't worry. After saying that, Hoo-han left. Director Hoo-soc was extremely angry because he didn't complete his plan. The scene changes to a large mansion. Thank you for your help. I didn't think I was the kind of person with such a kind heart. Suddenly a senior said, so, will you survive and help others later? Seung immediately replied, of course not, sir. Why would I give the money I work so hard for to others? And then he sighed, oh my, it seems that kid has become family, hasn't he? But it seemed that Seung was still lingering on something. It's not like that, but I felt regretful, so that's why. Usually, the one who feels regret is the one who suffers a loss. However, a person's heart is not something that can be bought with money. At this rate you must have used quite a large sum of money, but can't you even buy it with money? He asked, are you serious? Seung hastily affirmed, that person has already achieved what he needed most. What the manager really needs is not money, but something else. If I could help with money, I would have done it already. Money is just a means. But he refuted, I mean, be careful. You never know when or who will stab you in the back. The more you have, the easier it is to be targeted. Family is no exception. However, Seung also acknowledged it. Yes, but even though I can't buy that person's heart, I wish I knew the world that person is living in. Animal Island has been a popular game since its launch. However, more and more players are abandoning the game, and it has become increasingly riddled with serious errors. Loyal players of Animal Island are very dissatisfied with the production company, Ninsit. Streamer Chimemo Duri occasionally expresses her outrage about this issue on live streams. She expressed her annoyance and complained, that's why I said, even if it's an entertainment game, it's necessary to offer some content for skilled players, right, everyone? Suddenly, a chat message appeared. Duri, have you heard the newly released Animal Island OST too? Duri replied, are they just focusing on those songs and neglecting the game? Suddenly, her eyes widened in surprise. Oh my! Then she suddenly shouted. Hearing that, people in the chat channel wondered, what's wrong? You screamed so loud, it startled me. Try listening to the theme song. No kidding. Duri asked in surprise, isn't what I just heard the theme song? It seemed that the song had astonished her. Duri slowly let go of the keyboard on the table. At the same time, tears welled up in her eyes. Seeing that, everyone in the chat channel simultaneously inquired, Duri, are you crying? If you're sad about something, tell us so we can share with you. Duri hurriedly wiped her tears with her sleeve and thought to herself, how can it touch the hearts of animal lovers like that? I have to let everyone know about this. A moment later, Duri said, guys, this time, let's do a challenge content with the theme song. What do you think? I think we have to let those who are disappointed and turning their backs on Animal Island know about this song, even if it's just for comfort. At that moment, countless people wondered and chatted, why suddenly Korean? That's right, it's a Korean composer named HS, who also composed GNI's previous album. I tried searching and found the original composer of the song. How can this person sweep the Rican charts? At this point, Duri thought to herself, how can he put this emotion into the song? Duri's interest in HS immediately drew her attention to Ninsit's bulletin board. And thanks to the challenge created by Duri, the song became even more popular. The scene shifts to a room. Director Choi said, I didn't expect to receive good news from such an unexpected place. Woo-hun said joyfully, that's right. This wasn't recorded in the report. On Japanese websites, the Kyomu challenge is trending with the theme of this official OST. So Seong is really talented. At this point, I don't know whether to say he was born lucky or if he has the ability. He has been continuously successful like this, so it can be said that it's thanks to both luck and ability. Woo-hun continued with a smile, Seong, he has both talent and luck. He will definitely be more successful in the future. He's a kid who does everything with his own ability. Moreover, those who don't believe in absolute success and are too cautious will never be trusted. It seems like there's finally a reason to trust this kid. Suddenly, a message was sent to Woo-hun. I'm sorry, the game company Ninsit sent an email, so I have to check it. Director Choi wondered, Ninsit? Why did they send a message? Woo-hun quickly explained, they want to confirm the meaning of the official OST's title, Emptiness, through the composer HS. He curiously asked, Manager Kim, have you heard why he chose the title Emptiness? I'm not sure about that either. So it's not the same as what the online community is speculating? On the other hand, after returning, Woo-hun kept sighing. He asked Seong about the meaning of the name Emptiness. Seong replied, it means, oh, how empty. Woo-hun was stunned. Empty? He added, emptiness comes from feeling empty. A moment later, a message appeared, yes, in Korean it's Huvo, in Chinese characters it's Mu, which doesn't exist in Ho, while in Japanese it's Kyomu. With that meaning, this song contains the character's emotions. Someone immediately replied with admiration. Even the team leader has to admire HS's ability. Woo-hun suddenly said, Seong, this time, remember that the title Emptiness is simply an emotion. However, he still seemed confused. What? What do you mean? It means the emptiness when feeling empty. But why? It wasn't originally that meaning. I'll give you 10 meal tickets, so next time, please say it like that. Just a few hours later, the news was abuzz with the information. HS, the song title Emptiness was chosen because it contains an ethereal emotion. Countless people commented with admiration. Woo-hun, with dark circles under his eyes, said, Singotan needs a hot topic like this. Even just one appearance would be good. If he could be a main judge, it would be even better. Munesosi worriedly said, I've made a formal invitation 5 times already. Of course, I was rejected all 5 times. At this moment, Woo-hun suggested, just having Chaebo is enough. He seemed very pleased with this decision. The scene shifts to an office. A call comes in. Hello, I'm Haiseo from the Star Music Show. Who contacted you earlier? Yes, hello, but regarding the invitation. Chaebo's manager wondered, I thought I made it clear that we declined the invitation. Why are you still calling? Come on, don't be so stiff. Could I talk to Chaebo? As you know, Chaebo is very busy, so he can't talk directly. So, could you relay a message to Chaebo? I have something I must say. At this moment, Chaebo came over and asked, Who is it? Oh, it's the Star Music Show. Is Chaebo there too? Oh, yes. Please be brief. Chaebo is listening too. There's nothing more regrettable for Chaebo than losing to his previous solo album sales record. The manager expressed his confusion. Why are you bringing that up now? However, Chaebo advised, let's see what happens. The person on the other end of the line continued, shouldn't Chabo also try to redeem himself? Although it's not certain yet, there's active discussion about HS performing. As far as I know, he absolutely does not appear in performances, not even for a public interview. Yes, but I heard that if Chabo appears this time, he will perform 100%. We will prepare so that Chabo can take his revenge with dignity. If you get into the top 10, we will hold a performance with both of your works. Since our TV station can handle all the dirty stuff, Chabo just needs to compose a great song. I am Chabo. Immediately, musician HS also announced something big. Chabo, please donate to the requested organizations as promised. At this moment, a phone call came to Manhwa. Damn it, could it be that he didn't take the bait? On the other side, Chabo replied, if that person participates, I will come too. While Sam was practicing playing the guitar, someone walked in and pleaded, I told you not to. Are you treating me this coldly because of our relationship? The male lead sighed in exasperation and replied, what about our relationship? Other people might misunderstand. The young man said resentfully, what's so hard about asking you to tweak a little for? The concert? After reading the latest news on his phone, the young man's eyes showed clear surprise. Honestly, how can they publish an article without prior agreement? Following this were a series of hot news headlines that appeared before his eyes. Chabo confirmed as a judge at Singota. I want to collaborate with HS as a judge. The never-ending battle. Will Chabo and HS face each other once again at Singota? The Singota production team. We will use 2 songs composed by HS and Chabo in the final round. Speaking of Singota, Seung began to ponder. If I remember correctly, Season 1 successfully attracted the audience's attention and achieved the highest viewership ratings among domestic music programs. Now they've held 10 seasons and become a national music program. At this moment, Che suddenly spoke, it seems I also received an invitation from this program. You too? The young man asked in surprise. The man replied, yeah, but I declined from the beginning because of my concert schedule, and I also don't like it. Seung quickly added, looking at the ambition for this year's judging lineup, it can be seen that the production team is sharpening their knives and waiting. On this side, Hoo-han suddenly asked, do you want to compete with Chabo again? The young man flatly refused, no, I'm not interested in Chabo anymore. Then I will issue a correction and firmly decline the invitation to participate, the other party said. Only Che is still obsessed with it. Really? Not even once? The male lead quickly explained, I told you I'm very busy. Even a lot of money won't do. Just tell the technical team. After Singota achieved resounding success, many music programs appeared but did not achieve the same level of success. Will such a lonely production team succeed? Thinking about this, Seung suddenly remembered something. Wait a minute. The Singota program that I happened to see in my previous life. I remember in the second qualifying round, there was a lone female contestant with just a guitar, sitting and singing on the ground. The song had an Indian vibe, and with a voice as sweet as grape wine, it swept the market. But the judges didn't recognize the hidden potential within the girl and eliminated her right from the qualifying round. After that, the girl disappeared like a gust of wind. If she is that talented, I'm sure she's quietly making music somewhere. However, after debuting as a musician, no matter how hard I searched, I couldn't find any trace of her. For this reason, Seung changed his mind at the last minute. Manager Kim, I will go. Go where? Hoo-han asked in confusion. The male lead thought to himself, because in my previous life, I wasn't a composer. Therefore, in this life, he said loudly, Singota? The young man seemed puzzled. Don't you hate being revealed? Seung replied, that's true, but can't life be lived just according to my own will? He then took an item out of his pocket. This is the spring song I composed not long ago. This is just the melody. Holding the USB in his hand, Hoo-han asked, a spring song? Have you decided on the singer yet? The young man replied, yes, it seems Aaron's voice will be very suitable. After hearing this, the other party didn't seem too surprised. It's Aaron again on this thorny path. In another corner, the girl was silently reading and rereading the sheet music A Handful of Cherry Blossoms. A Handful of Cherry Blossoms by musician HS is a song about the vibrant cherry blossom season, a gentle and warm song. Next, Aaron pushed the door open and entered the room with an excited expression. Musician, I'm here. I can't believe you called me again. Seung replied coldly, you're overreacting again. Have you practiced? Of course. After receiving the file, I practiced very diligently, Aaron replied excitedly. The young man went straight to the point. So, let's start recording. Yes, the other party replied cheerfully. During the recording process, Seung suddenly noticed the paper in Aaron's hand. The paper had been carefully annotated with important parts. This made the male lead ponder. In just a few short minutes, the recording was completed. After listening, the girl exclaimed in surprise, "It's done? Really? It's okay to end like this?" "Yeah, it's done," Seung replied indifferently. Aaron started overthinking. "Are you hurt somewhere? Did you record it hastily because I was being a nuisance?" Hearing the two words hastily, the young man's eyes filled with murderous intent. Seeing this, the girl had to moderate her words. No. In her heart, she thought, I don't know anymore. I don't know if he acknowledges me or if it's because I've improved a lot that I've met his standards. Anyway, this tense recording session ended after only 3 takes. At this moment, Hoo-hun suddenly appeared. Seung. Both people in the room simultaneously exclaimed, "Manager." "Hello, sir." Seung quickly turned to Aaron and said, "I'll contact you when the recording is finalized." "Is it done already?" "Usually, when I record, it takes several nights," Hoo-hun asked curiously. The young man immediately denied this false rumor. "What? You're making it sound like I'm a cruel musician who tortures singers. Isn't that right?" the other party asked back. Then he hesitated and said, "Anyway, I have something to tell you. The USB you gave me, I lost it. I'm really sorry. It got lost in the company. So I'm saying, you can't always be reassured just because it's in the company." Seung was expected to fly into a rage. But he simply said softly, "Forget it." Hoo-hun said in surprise, "No, someone who picks it up could also have bad intentions. It's also possible that someone with bad intentions stole it." The male lead replied. "Anyway, I'm keeping the original recording. Also, if someone in the company picks it up, they'll return it or throw it away. LS Entertainment is already very sensitive to copyright issues. Unless they're an idiot, they wouldn't use the song from a USB picked up in the company. And LS Entertainment has that idiot." Hoo-hun said, "I received information that the publisher has decided to release the song A Handful of Cherry Blossoms, and that song is very similar to the handful of cherry blossoms that you guys sent." Looking at the original sheet music on the computer screen, the man was extremely distressed. "You don't have to be an expert to recognize that the two songs are identical," Seung agreed. "See?" the other party said apologetically, I'm sorry. I should have kept it safe." The male lead naturally didn't blame him, just thought to himself, "That's right. Because it's a big company, not everyone has the right mindset." Hoo-hun said, using the spring concept as the theme, the entire melody of the song and even the chorus are almost identical. Team My Man 1 submitted this song. It's Director Baek's team. Speaking of this, the young man couldn't help but exclaim, "That's terrible. Why would that person do that?" "First, don't worry too much. I will organize the plagiarism materials and send them to Team My Man 1. Suddenly, Seung refused. "No. I'll go personally." In front of the company, the young man said politely, "Please help me." Director Baek said cheerfully, "Yeah, you've worked hard." Then he quickly entered the company, thinking to himself, Hatrun wouldn't be any less successful debuting as a singer now. This big music program will be held, right? I heard it's K Singota. As he passed the room where people were arguing, "You guys coming here together is such rude behavior." Hoo-hun calmly replied, "What rude behavior? We are making a formal request. Cancel the release of the digital music that you sent to the publisher." Seung also added, "The day I handed over my song to the publisher, Team 1 also handed over a version that was very similar to my song earlier. I want to ask Team 1's thoughts on this matter." On the other side, the man replied aggressively, "What are you saying? Are you implying that Team 1 stole Team 2's song?" The male lead said coldly, "I tried to be indirect. If I had known it would be like this, I should have been straightforward." The man, without any reason, just shouted, "This kid! I know you have a very strange personality, but doing this is really ridiculous." At this moment, Director Baek suddenly appeared and angrily shouted, "What's going on here? What is this all about?" Seeing him furious, Team 1 also had to be cautious. Director. Team 2 suddenly came and said their song was plagiarized. The man hastily concluded after hearing that, "Nonsense. They're just kids. They've been pampered too much lately, so they think the company is a place where they can run around wherever they please. Seung didn't want to be humble at all. Now that the executive director is also here, I'll get straight to the point. I gave manager Kim a USB containing the song I intended to release this fall, and asked him to listen to it. But whether intentionally or unintentionally, that USB was lost. After completing the recording, I sent it to the publisher, and they said that a few days ago, Team 1 had sent the publisher a song exactly like the one I composed. Director Back immediately retorted, "Hey kid, so do you have any evidence that my people took that USB?" The male lead replied, "I don't have evidence, but isn't the release of a new song at this time too much of a coincidence? And the important point is plagiarism." Director Back seemed skeptical. "You talk about plagiarism so easily. In this day and age, hundreds of songs are released every day. You can't say it's plagiarism just because a few lines are similar." Seung maintained his stance. "No, sir. I think if it were Director Back, you could judge whether it's plagiarism or not. Would you like to listen and see where they are similar?" Hearing this, Director Back shouted, "No need, no need. According to what you said, isn't there also a possibility that you guys plagiarized our team's song?" At this moment, the young man revealed some unexpected news. "This song. I registered the copyright before giving the USB to manager Kim." Hoo-hun gasped upon hearing this. "What? Really?" Seung continued, "Who composed it first? Whose song is it? Let's go and ask." The surroundings suddenly fell silent. The young man continued, "Executive Director Back, protecting and caring for your team's livelihood is not a bad thing. However, don't destroy other people's livelihoods. I hope you will judge carefully and handle this quickly." In the room, Director Back asked, "The song Team 2 claims was plagiarized as shopping ending, right?" "Yes, that's correct," Seung quickly replied. Hearing this, the man questioned Tae-hoo, "Answer me this. You composed shopping ending entirely by yourself, right?" The young man stammered that. Immediately afterward, he had to admit his wrongdoing. "I'm really sorry." This caused Team 1's leader to explode in anger. You bastard! What were you thinking, daring to plagiarize? And aren't you afraid of copyright within the company? Don't you know how sensitive LS is to plagiarism, and didn't you think about the consequences? You do that and still dare to call yourself an exclusive musician? Tae-hoo tried to explain, "I really didn't know it was Seung's song. I found the USB in the restroom and checked what was in it. There wasn't even a file name, just a humming voice, so I thought it was a demo." The man continued to reprimand, "You call that an excuse? Can you plagiarize a demo? Are those words that can come out of a songwriter's mouth?" Tae-hoo said frankly. "The manager knows, I haven't been able to compose a complete song for a year now because of a creative slump. Moreover, the team's performance hasn't been good. I just wanted to do something to help the team." Hearing this, the manager became even angrier. "Don't use the team as an excuse, just because you want to regain your success." At this point, Director Back interrupted. "Manager, oh, alright. Even if you get angry or curse at him, it can't change what has happened. LS Entertainment is a company that manages copyright issues more strictly than any other company. Even if they buy a demo for a few $100,000, they have to complete the procedures through the legal team. Not only that, exclusive musicians not only face suspicions or accusations of plagiarism, but later there could be disputes demanding contract termination with the condition of stopping royalty payments. Yet you dare to plagiarize a musician within the same company, where copyright regulations are so strict. It's no different from confessing to theft at the police station. No matter what, Manager Kim won't let this reach Director Choi or the chairman. I'll handle this. Manager O, quickly contact the publisher and request cancellation of the new music release date." Before leaving, Director Back left a word of advice. "Team 1. Please compete with your own abilities." Stepping out of the room, the man's mind was filled with the criticisms of his subordinates. The phrase "compete with your own abilities" came from Executive Director Back's mouth. That's right, no one said anything more, and everyone knows about the withdrawal of the official letter sent to HS. Compete with your own abilities is no different from the pot calling the kettle black. How can he say something that he himself can't do? Faced with these criticisms, Director Back didn't want to argue, just walked away without looking back. At the same time, a team was filming. The girl suddenly appeared and said, "Senior, long time no see." The man was surprised to see her, and exclaimed, "Dong-ae." The people there discussed among themselves, "There are still many contestants in the third qualifying round. Today, we'll probably be filming until late at night. Many contestants get too nervous, then scared, then their parents object, and they give up, so we'll finish early. Looking at the empty chair, someone asked, "Whose empty seat is that?" "Chabo?" Another person replied, "Chabo will be the main judge, but he decided to be a judge in the Gongji area with Quan Chin. That spot is..." Before finishing the sentence, a voice interrupted. "Hello everyone. I am musician HS. It's an honor to meet you all in person like this." Looking at the person in front of them, everyone was a little incredulous. "Is that HS?" The male lead quickly explained, "Due to personal reasons, I have to wear a helmet. Please understand." The man replied with a smile, "Isn't it enough to just do a good job as a judge?" "It's alright." Those present all felt that Sam was a strange young man. Why is he wearing a helmet? Let's see, is it because his chin protrudes or because he has many spots on his face? There are a lot of rumors about him, I just don't know them. Hearing this, Duhui thought to himself, there were already many concerns about HS wearing a helmet. He suddenly remembered the previous terms, wearing a helmet and appearing in the previous episode, not being asked to take off the helmet, in case the helmet fell off and the face was revealed. It had to be re-edited, not being forced or interfered with the judge's comments. Up to this point. Along with this man's words, the judges are very curious about HS's appearance. If he doesn't take off his helmet in the previous episode, everyone will lose interest. Who knows, later on, if he wears a helmet on other programs, he might even be criticized and boycotted. Moreover, the TV station director even asked who was actually wearing the helmet on the broadcast, because there's a possibility it wasn't entirely HS. Duhui continued. No matter what, HS's side is absolutely certain that these terms cannot be changed. Therefore, we will meet with CP Nim to resolve related issues. The man wondered, no need for comfort, so that's the purpose? So can you show me the benefits he will bring to the program? Only then can I convince the TV director. The young man said, isn't that obvious? He will make it the greatest music program in Korean history. Besides the condition of wearing a helmet, all conditions regarding the contract money and appearance fee for each episode must be equal to Chaebo's. Only then can HS's appearance be guaranteed. Immediately after, the man loudly announced the start of filming the opening scene. On this side, Donghae said, HS, I'm very happy to meet you. The male lead replied indifferently, yes. The girls started asking, it seems like you were stuck in traffic on the way here. You're a little late today. However, Sung seemed uncomfortable. I arrived before filming started. Is there a problem? Hearing this, Donghae thought to herself, what? Well said. Very quickly, the first scene was recorded. Singjorda, hello everyone, I'm Lee Dongchin, the host for the Seoul region. Today is the third qualifying round. Our contestants have prepared a lot. Please watch. Backstage, someone called the girl over. Chae-yu. Please stick your registration number on your shirt. When you're called, step onto the stage. The third qualifying round in the Seoul region of Singjorda will now begin. And the first contestant, registration number 283. As Chae-yu stepped out, she attracted the male lead's gaze. A dejected appearance with a rather old guitar in her hand. It's that girl. At this moment, the girl timidly introduced herself. Hello, I'm Chae-yu, registration number 283. In her subconscious, when I was young, what protected me when I was lonely wasn't family, nor friends, but this ordinary acoustic guitar. A few minutes earlier in the restroom, the girl suddenly cried out, Mom, Dad. If I fail this time, I'll sell this acoustic guitar. Please don't let me give up on the dream I've cherished for 10 years. In the judges' area, Donghae was still curious. It seems like HS keeps eliminating contestants, doesn't he? The boy coldly replied, by my standards, they don't have the talent, nor the potential, so I eliminate them. Yes, that's right, the girl quickly added. At this moment, the man suddenly said, I think Chunso's younger sibling is coming up soon, right? Donghae said, if it's Chunso, he's recently become famous as a monster vocalist. Does he sing as well as his brother? I'm also looking forward to this person. Who? The man asked curiously. The woman immediately replied, Ethan Kim is someone who made it to the finals of a famous audition program abroad. I also watched that program, and this person's voice is very good. I bet this guy will make it to the top 10 here as well. Hearing this, the man turned and asked, Does HS know this Ethan Kim? Sung replied, Yes, I also watched that program. The other person continued to ask, What do you think? Do you think this person will make it into the top 10? The boy replied, let's see. I'm not someone who pays too much attention to the contestants, so I don't know. Dong asked again, so, in HS's opinion, which contestants will make it into the top 10? Sung, upon hearing this, was stunned for a moment. Just as he was about to speak, the sound on stage interrupted the conversation. Hello judges, I am Chae-yu, registration number 283. Seeing the girl, Dong thought, this is a singer whose face and name I've never seen before. So she quickly asked, can you tell us a little about yourself? Chae-yu trembled as she replied, I live in Seoul and I'm 25 years old this year. I hope the judges will help me. Dong quickly offered words of encouragement. It seems like you're very nervous. Please be sincere and sing comfortably. Immediately after, the contestant sat directly on the stage floor. This made Dong very confused. He's sitting on the floor? Chae-yu remained silently still. Inwardly, she was reassuring herself, don't tremble anymore, be natural. Her eyes suddenly noticed Sung, thinking to herself, if it doesn't work out, just think of them as plastic. By the way, who is that? Immediately after, the girl began to play the guitar and hummed the lyrics, don't pity me anymore. Having sung only the first line, Dong quickly raised her hand to signal her to stop. I think that's enough. Chae-yu couldn't believe her ears. I only sang one line. Dong thought to herself, that girl has a captivating voice, but just like when she introduced herself, the sound scattered like dust due to her soft and mumbled pronunciation. In short, when she doesn't even have basic vocal skills, it's boring for anyone to watch. It's a charming voice, so she's a gem worth polishing, but this is an audition center, not an academy. There's no time to wait until that gem is refined. Perhaps that's why Dong bluntly refused to choose the contestant. I don't know if it's because of the self-composed song or the vocal ability, but throughout the performance, the unique appeal of Chae-yu wasn't shown. So I don't choose you. The man next to her also agreed. Chae-yu's voice is quite attractive, but I don't think she has enough skill to highlight that color. I'm sorry, but I don't choose you. The host announced, too bad, contestant 283, Chae-yu. Unfortunately, please leave the stage. Suddenly, the male lead spoke up. I have a question. Yes, HS? The other person replied. The young man curiously asked, is it okay to use a super pass in the preliminary round? Hearing the word super pass, the judges there were all dumbfounded. Even Chae-yu was stunned in place. That person is HS? After the recording was posted online, social media was flooded with articles about HS using a super pass in the qualifying round. Chaebo clicked on an article and thought, this is against the rules. HS and I concluded our discussion about confirming participation in the program 3 days before the first broadcast. We're in waiting mode without submitting any promotional songs to our company. HS using a super pass before the broadcast even started. It seems like he's drawn his sword. Finally, Chaebo exclaimed, I really don't understand, causing the manager to ask curiously, was it the TV station's fault? The man said it's HS. Yesterday, I asked the production team to watch the video of the contestant HS used the super pass on. It was really terrible. The voice, pronunciation, and basic techniques were all ordinary, nothing stood out. It's so absurd that I thought she was a trainee from LS Entertainment, but it turns out she's not. Is this HS's strategy to get attention? Chaebo leaned back in his chair and chuckled. Anyway, see you in the finals, Miss Chae-yu. Time passed, and the fierce preliminary rounds of K-Sing-jorda came to an end. At that moment, Sung's A Handful of Cherry Blossoms was released. The song was so popular that it successfully entered the charts just 1 day after its release. Walking down the street, the male lead suddenly stopped. Around the time K-Sing-jorda was preparing for its first broadcast, an unexpected person came to visit Sung. They stopped at a nearby cafe and chatted. The man began, it seems that A Handful of Cherry Blossoms, which was recently released, entered the top 100 as soon as it was released. It's such a heartwarming melody that I can't believe you wrote it. Sung said indifferently, did you wait for me in front of the company just to say that? My relationship with you isn't close enough for you to come all the way here to congratulate me on the release of a new song. Director Park quickly explained, I know, so I came to resolve the plagiarism case involving our group's A Handful of Cherry Blossoms. As you can see, A Handful of Cherry Blossoms was released safely, but Group 1's bad song was cancelled. Plagiarism is a sensitive issue, so please continue to cover it up, and don't say anything. Accordingly, I'll accept all damages internally within the company. In return, as the person in charge, can you help me handle this smoothly? Hearing these words, Sung was extremely surprised. He thought to himself, Director Park, until now, hasn't shown any remorse for his wrongdoing, and now he's lowering his head. I guess he wants to protect his teammates, so he's going this far. The male lead softly said, since everything has returned to normal, Director Park won't suffer any losses or bear any responsibility. Hearing this, the man was stunned. You haven't reported it to your superiors yet? The young man replied, No, I haven't. Why? The other person asked curiously. Sung said, because a handful of cherry blossoms was released safely. Since there weren't any problems with the release of the new song, I didn't feel that reporting it had any meaning. Remembering the times he had gotten angry for no reason, Director Park felt guilty again. Sung continued, I've seen some unpleasant things during this time, but I hope there will be positive changes in Director Park's actions in the future. The man also confessed his mistakes. I've felt sorry for you during this time. Even when I did that, you didn't expose it. In another corner, the young man opened a can of soda with an excited expression. Finally, we can check which singer Sung used the super pass on. The program's audio played. K Singjorda, a nationwide large-scale audition, will begin now. Oh my god, it's finally starting. There are so many people at the audition. I'm as worried as I was during the second qualifying round in the Seoul region. When will HS appear? HS appears from episode 1, right? No, ask if he really appeared on screen. If those ambush articles didn't appear, it would be too much. Chaebo isn't appearing? I heard Chaebo is also there. He'll probably appear to promote the new song. That song is so good, it doesn't need promotion. HS's new song this time is about spring. It makes you think of spring. If you want to talk about HS alone, go to his fan cafe and talk about it. So, when will Chaebo appear? He's not appearing? Everyone, look at the comments above. You can tell they're from Chaebo's fans. What about Chaebo? Is he participating or not, everyone? More Chaebo fans are appearing, truly devoted fans. It's HS. HS really appeared. But he's wearing a helmet? What's with his height? Even his posture is different, super handsome. Please pull up your glasses. Sir. His outfit coordination is awesome today. She stepped onto the stage and introduced herself. I'm Sei, registration number 238. I live in Seoul, and I'm 25 years old this year. Please sing as comfortably as possible. Why did she suddenly sit down? What's the concept? It seems like she's going to do something. She's very talented. I'm so excited. Holding a guitar means she sings well. Right? I can't wait. Isn't that her? Did HS give her a special pass to the next round? I hope you don't feel guilty. Those were the lyrics she was singing. The judges were enjoying the melody. The voice is okay, but the whole song feels somehow. The vocal technique is like talking, mumbling. It's quite ordinary, isn't it? Could it be that this person isn't the one who got the special pass to the next round? Someone said she was very talented. Then the judges gave their comments. Therefore, I don't choose you. It's a pity, but I don't choose you. Suddenly HS said, I have a question. Is it possible to use a special pass in the qualifying round? His words caused the program to censor them. The online community exploded. Are you kidding? What is this? Thousands of comments criticized Sung. Confirm with the broadcasting station if we have to wait another week. Is it true? Who is it intended for? Confirm with the broadcasting station after 30 days. Sei was sitting at home, rewatching the program. Sei, I'll give you the right to a special pass to the next round. In return, please practice and sing the song I requested perfectly in the finals. She wondered, why did HS use the special pass on someone like me? She shook her head. No, don't worry unnecessarily. The answer is very clear. It's here, the guitar and the lyrics. On the day of the final round filming, someone please attach a microphone inside HS's helmet for me. Excuse me for a moment. They're preparing the outfits. Suddenly, the wardrobe stylist seemed to notice something and stood there dumbfounded. When he asked, Are you finished? She came back to her senses. Yes, please come this way. Hi everyone. Is HS here? Why is he wearing a helmet? That guy is really funny. Donghae said, wearing a helmet is nothing. He even used a special pass in the qualifying round. I heard about him hiding it from the media, but seeing it in person is really ridiculous. He turned and asked Chebo, "Do you know HS?" "No, today is my first time meeting him. We have to film the opening scene, so please talk to each other naturally. I'm really looking forward to this contestant. They performed very well in the previous qualifying round." Dong said, "I'm also very curious how this contestant will perform this time. They have the qualities of a star. I'm also quite curious about this contestant more than the others. I mean, the contestant Say, whom HS gave the special pass to in the Seoul qualifying round. Because I only heard about the special pass but haven't witnessed it directly." Sung also said, "I'm really looking forward to seeing how well she performs." After the opening filming ended, it was time for the performances. Film the contestants singing and playing on stage, make sure it's enough. The long filming hours tired both the judges and the contestants. The next contestant was the one holding the guitar. "It's her, Say. She still looks dejected. I finally met the hottest contestant of Singjorda Season 1. "Excuse me? Is it me?" Say asked in surprise. "Aren't you the contestant who made the top composer HS use a special pass in the qualifying round?" "Yes, I'm very grateful to HS for giving an opportunity to someone lacking like me. In this final round, you'll perform the song that HS directly requested in the qualifying round, right?" She said firmly, "Yes. Last time, there was a risk of elimination, so I hope this time you'll perform well, for HS's sake too." At this moment, she sat down on the stage and focused on playing and singing her song. HS was focused on listening to the melody. The melody, though unfamiliar, was catchy, making the listener sway along with the music. Say was currently very focused on playing her music. The melodies kept flowing, it was incredibly beautiful. The intro is very soulful. It's a slow-tempo song, will that voice blend well with the song? Then she started singing the first few notes. She just sat there, playing the guitar and enjoying the music. The judges were incredibly surprised. Chebo at this moment seemed to have discovered a musical genius. The entire studio was now immersed in the melody of the song. Everyone was enjoying listening and felt incredibly surprised. Say breathed a sigh of relief because she had performed very well. Say, "No kidding, this song really suits your style, completely different from the songs you've sung before." Her friend's encouragement somehow made Say feel less confident. Finally, it was the host's turn to announce the results. All passed, and she had done it. "I met Say once in the Seoul qualifying round. But I thought it was a completely different person. At that time, I commented that your voice didn't suit the song. Actually, the new song was the problem. You did very well today. Your face looks much happier. Thank you, judges." She bowed her head in gratitude for their recognition. "I was so surprised that I forgot what to say. I couldn't imagine you being so suited to a gentle song like that. On the contrary, the charm of your voice seems to have been revived. And your aura seems renewed. I'm really looking forward to your next performance in the next round. You've worked hard. I had no idea what happened in the qualifying round, but for someone with such talent. If it were me, I would also give a special pass. Or lose them. I couldn't do anything but press the select button immediately. They say if you're in the industry for a long time, your vision and senses gradually dim. I've watched Say's qualifying round dozens of times. I'm a capable top producer in the industry. I couldn't detect this hidden potential." HS encouraged her, "You've worked hard. I'm looking forward to your performance in the next round." At this moment, she was very happy. And smiled brightly. "Thank you? Is it really believable that just one song can change a person? You anticipated that Say's voice would suit this song from the qualifying round, right? So this is why everyone is fascinated by HS lately. You can recognize a raw gemstone that others can't." "Hello, judges." The young man appeared on stage. "I'm the strong guy, Hatran. Nice to meet you." He applied for the audition. To put it this way, this is a worthy contestant. Hatran is a trainee from LS's management company. "Hatran, you've passed the first round." "Thank you, strong guy Hatran." "You must be very happy, Hatran," the host said. "You sang wonderfully and even received the original composer's signature of approval. Hatran has outstanding stage presence, even surpassing singers with years of experience. Instead of being worried, I'm very impressed by how you performed on stage. That's right, especially the smile when you hit the high note in the climax, as if you were completely enjoying the stage. Right, even just your face is enough to debut as a celebrity. First round finalist, Hatran. He's the type of singer who could easily perform any song. Although he's a singer I've never met in my past life, I'm certain that after he debuts, he'll become a hot topic of this program and will easily break even. If so, let's hear the comments from the original composer that everyone is waiting for. HS finally spoke. First of all, thank you for choosing my song. I think Hatran's star quality is innate. However, I can't say that your natural tone is good. If it's natural tone, are you talking about the singing voice? Hatran wondered. But that's an area that can be overcome with effort, and there's a limit. Hatran, in the waiting room, happened to see Sei. You're Sei, right? She nodded repeatedly. Yes. I'm Hatran. Can I sit next to you? He smiled, appearing very friendly towards her. You must be busy, right? Since you passed the first round but it's a group, the second round starts after today. Even so, I'm happy to be here, not on the bus home after being eliminated. There are so many seats, why do you have to sit next to me? She was extremely uncomfortable. How do you know my name? Wouldn't it be strange not to know? You're the anonymously chosen hidden gem. Even a normal impression with that magical voice makes people feel it's very cool. People are talking about it a lot here and there. I want to run away right now. You must be usually very shy, right? Hatran asked Sei curiously. How can someone like you challenge themselves at an audition like this? She hesitated, not knowing how to answer him properly. He found her demeanor extremely amusing. I think we'll see each other a lot in the future, so let's get closer gradually. The next day, the 100 finalists gathered at the dormitory. You've all worked hard. Have you had a full day's rest? It would be great if you had more time to rest, but this is a fierce battlefield. Unfortunately, we have a mission to complete. So let's start the second round mission right away. Go to the front where the names of the judges you desire are written and line up. Each judge will have a total of 20 participants. After the selection process is over, I will explain. Now everyone please move. The judges are all famous musicians and singers. If so, the mission is to receive a one-on-one evaluation from the singer or musician you choose, or you will sing their song. And the fact that there aren't many people there means I'm not the only one who thinks so. HS, the stingy man with passing grades and advice. He seemed to have spotted someone. It turned out to be Sei. He seemed to be standing there pondering something. Now, the selection time is over. Everyone, please stop moving. Today's second round mission is a one-on-one death match. You can freely perform on stage with the song written on the illuminated billboard. As expected, the time limit is 3 hours. 20 participants have chosen HS's song. Will only 10 survive here? Then, let's reveal the matchups right away. The pairs will face off against each other in turns. Every opponent is strong and formidable. Sei and Hatran are now waiting for the results. The two are also each other's opponents. This coincidence surprised both of them. Father and son want to become singers. Yes, son. Thank you for telling me your dream. What? You said you want to become a global singer? So you're very ambitious, Hatran's dad. Alright, since I'll give you everything you want, go ahead and challenge yourself. I plan to use winning this program as a stepping stone to a successful debut. Therefore, I must win. Sei is also very focused on her song. She's incredibly passionate. Hatran is lost in thought, wondering about something. I met Sei once during the Seian preliminaries, but I really thought it was someone else. Maybe at that time, I didn't assess the harmony of the song with the vocals very well. But the song was really the problem. I've heard that beautiful voice when it's raised, making so many people look. This can't be happening. How can it change so quickly in just a few weeks? While Hatran was pondering, he received a message from his manager. I've adjusted and modified it to your pitch. I just need to sing well and get recognition, he thought. 30 minutes left. The program is increasingly limiting the time. Great, it's perfect. The manager sent the modified version, so I can put all my effort into practicing. Now Sei in this round. That Sei is still modifying it? He noticed she was working hard on her song. She is diligently writing it down. Before the performance, the judges discussed the battle animatedly. Done started. Perhaps due to lack of time, everyone's standards only adjust the volume of the similarly modified music. Saying that one person must definitely be eliminated in a one-on-one battle is not easy. The man retorted, is that so? I often want to eliminate both of them. Unlike Dong here. Then he asked HS, what do you think? Seung replied, I think so too. Hearing that, Dong asked, do you mean you want to eliminate both of them? He held the contestant information sheet, answering the girl, yes, because there isn't much practice time, just this time it's too tense due to mistakes. It wasn't originally like this. Actually, such words, if they come to this place, are all excuses. Isn't it true that if you go into the forest, you have to rush to death to survive? At this time, the MC announced, Participant Chai, please wait by the side of the stage for now, and Participant Hatron will come in right away. Chai walked towards the waiting seats. Donghae said to the judge next to her, it seems like we can see the victory or defeat of the artist and the singer, right? The person next to her replied, even if that's not the case, these two have been the hottest topics since the first broadcast. Donghae rested her chin and continued, so, one of them will be eliminated today? The production team is using very harsh measures, too cruel. Chai sat in the back, not worried but looking around the studio in admiration. Because I'm stepping onto the stage, the studio looks really big. At that moment, on the stage, Hatron appeared before the judges. The MC asked, Hatron, the time was very short, so did you prepare well? He gently lifted the microphone and took a deep breath. Then said, yes, I did my best. The music modification was carried out at a level that doesn't greatly harm the original song's structure. The degree of improvisation ability is added to simply adjust the pitch and reach a higher climax. But not stopping there, I've watched many Chianai live videos and repeatedly recorded my song and put it in, and equipped myself with the improvisation lines. I will be recognized for having better musicality than Chai. He began to sing, like today, walk with me. Like today, forget everything and walk with me. Chai was surprised when she heard the melody. So talented. Deep and serious emotions without any pressure. How can you act with such a relaxed and colorful expression? The judges sitting below also closed their eyes, feeling with their souls. After the performance ended, Donghae began her comments, Participant Hatron, you've worked hard. I listened very well, and since this is a one-on-one battle performance, after listening to Participant Chai's song, we will proceed with the evaluation. Hearing that, Hatron was elated, thinking, alright, at this level, it's enough. It was Chai's turn. The MC started the conversation. You're the participant of the miracle, right? Participant Chai showed truly outstanding progress in the previous round. How will this round be? The girl replied, I worked very hard. Seeing the instrument in the contestant's hand, Donghae said, this time, you're also directly performing the guitar? I'm really looking forward to what new guitar playing will be added to Chianai's song. Then, please start the song right away. Chai calmly sat down, holding her guitar. Hatron sat on the chair, also anxiously waiting to hear what Chai had prepared. While observing the person on stage, his eyes were also quietly watching HS attentively. Chai started playing the first notes, humming the song. Chaibo sat silently enjoying it. Like confidence, faith, trust, responsibility are fluctuating, the unfamiliar melody is as if familiar immediately. The way Chai played with her guitar surprised the judges, overwhelming the studio with exciting and rhythmic beats. The original song has a slow and gentle rhythm. It's not a modification of the original song in just 3 hours. But can it be performed perfectly in her own way? Chaibo was stunned with amazement. At that time, I realized that I couldn't recognize the hidden power of that girl that HS had recognized. Although it's somewhat of a strange creativity, the unique melody and vocals somehow make up for that. HS, who recognized this miraculous ability, gave her the opportunity to perform in the finals. If the girl from the audition had complied, he would have guided her in the best suitable direction by transforming a song. After a while, Chai finished her performance. She breathed heavily. I did my best, no regrets. But why isn't anyone saying anything? Is it really an irrational number? At that moment, Chaibo started his comments. Chai, can I ask why you thought of modifying walk together like this? The introverted Chai stammered, it's just that I kept worrying about how to modify it to suit me, so... I'm sorry, because I've never learned to modify separately. So I wanted to try my best. I'm really sorry. Chaibo pondered after hearing that. As expected, it was modified by feeling. Then he said loudly, no, I listened very well. You worked hard. The MC said then, after the judges have a discussion, we will announce the eliminated participant. The judges gathered in one place and discussed. Chai's modified song is shockingly good. If the original song is suitable for a dark night atmosphere and as if receiving calm comfort, then Chai's version is like the comfort of a girl running over, patting your shoulder, and saying cheer up. Someone who says they've never learned can modify it to this extent. Donghae thought for a moment, and then said, but that doesn't mean Hatran is inferior. Chai is very unique, and if you say you're looking forward to the next stage then. It's the most fluctuating performance among the walk together we've heard today, and it evokes emotion. Hatran's song is a stage where you can feel the sincerity and honesty. As if you want to keep listening. The male judge held his head in frustration and shouted, the production team is also heartless. Why did they have to put these two together? Seong finally spoke up. Then let's decide by majority vote. It's better to go in the direction of not caring about other people's choices but choosing what you want. HS will announce the final eliminated participant. The MC announced to the two contestants, the participant whose name is not called will automatically advance to the next round. You can leave the stage without individual comments. The eliminated participant is. He created a sense of mystery, making people even more nervous. The name called is participant Hatran. Hearing his name called as the eliminated one, Hatran froze, unable to believe his ears. The MC explained, the judges here have heard 20 people sing Walk Together. Among them, Walk Together sung by Hatran is the second best song. I don't know if it feels cruel to you, but it's just that your luck wasn't good. Hatran was disappointed and whispered, thank you. He slowly walked off the stage. Even if I don't ask the judges to give me a chance, I can't even contact the company and whine for help. Because that girl's victory is too deserving. While he used help from the company, Chai worked hard and tried her best. The determination shown in her eyes made him unable to not admire her. I laughed silently at myself, someone who couldn't win even using shortcuts. I was ashamed that I felt relieved after seeing that girl focus entirely on modifying the song for over 2 hours. And that girl who has no doubts about herself, loving music no matter the situation, was very cool. I don't want to go home, stay on stage a little longer. Suddenly, Seong came from behind and asked him, are you going to continue singing? Are you going to give up just because you were eliminated here? Hatran was startled by the voice. Hearing that question, he shouted, no, I will continue. At this moment, Seong handed him a business card. Then soon, I will give you a song. At this time, someone was watching the live broadcast. Chai on stage stammered her introduction, I live in Seon. I'm 25 years old this year, my name is Chai. You can call me whatever you want. Then she continued to hum the song, delighting the audience. The mysterious person's hand holding the mouse trembled, unsure whether it was emotion or anger. Elsewhere, at his company, Hatran received a large box. He asked, what is this? The person who gave it to him replied, this is a side dish. Pickled cabbage, radish kimchi, dried radish, stir-fried radish, braised radish, and saw-fried radish. Hatran was surprised. The other person explained, there's someone who likes radishes. These are special dishes that I woke up early to prepare for Hatran in our group. Hatran hesitated slightly. Radishes? Thank you. I have to go now. Then he quickly slipped away. The man's smile from earlier had faded, only intently watching Hatran's back. Still can't believe it. HS saw the contestants' resumes. So he must know Hatran is a trainee of Group 1, right? How embarrassing. Hatran sat silently on the chair, pondering something. At this moment, someone came up and called his name. Hearing this familiar voice, it was HS. Seeing his surprised expression, Sam wondered, why are you so surprised? Seeing Sam's appearance in person for the first time left Hatran speechless. So handsome. No, he looks even younger than I thought. Hatran pushed the boxes of food from earlier in front of the main character. He said, this is a gift I prepared in advance to thank you. Seong picked up the items, complaining, what cumbersome thing is this? Hatran hurriedly explained, it's not money, it's radish dishes. Because I heard you like radishes. Seong, upon hearing this, asked back, I like radishes? Hatran, being asked back like that, was flustered. Are you really musician HS? The main character leaned back and stroked his hair, saying, is it fake? What a silly question. Touching his head, Seong suddenly realized something was wrong. I forgot to wear my helmet. Hatran spoke up, before talking about the main song, I have a question. I recently heard about the unfortunate incident between Group 1 and 2, and I think it must have bothered you a lot. But why are you interested in me? Seong casually replied, I just like it, so I want to try playing. Playing musical instruments, you can do it in any situation, right? Hearing that, Hatran's cheeks flushed. Musical instruments? I spent most of my training time with your songs. So when I need to choose a song to practice, it has become natural for me to look at your songs. Actually, I admire you a lot. Even though I was eliminated from the program, I'm still very touched to receive a song from you personally. Seeing him being overly excited, Seung said, "Hey, don't get too excited. If you want to work with me, you have to pass the test first." Hatron was enthusiastic. "Game on. Whatever the challenge, I'll do my best." Seung then asked, "Even if it means playing the recorder with your nose?" Hatron was bewildered. "What?" Seung calmly replied, "Just kidding. The song I prepared for you is a summer-themed song. You know A Handful of Cherry Blossoms, right? A spring-themed song I released a few months ago. I'm planning a summer-themed album based on that kind of song. Spring is the gentle version, so for this summer, I want an energetic and encouraging song. After it's finished, I'll let you know when to come to the recording studio." Hatron replied loudly, "Yes, I will do my best." After that conversation, Hatron walked out comfortably. Just then, he ran into Director Back waiting outside. He came over and hugged him joyfully. "You can return to K Singota." Hatron couldn't believe his ears. "What?" Leaving that aside, the storyline shifts its attention to another character, Detrin, a bland contestant throughout the K Singota program. The top 10 spot was left vacant due to her withdrawal following a school violence scandal. The producers agreed to let Hatron make a comeback. Now, they just need to reach an agreement with the judges regarding the pre-selected participant. Finally, HS has arrived. "Long time no see, Chief Kim." Everyone sat down at the meeting table. A man began, "The reason I invited HS today is to announce the upcoming top 10 selection round of K Singota. First of all, I want to confirm this. Among the current contestants, only Hatron has signed a contract with LS Entertainment, correct?" Chief Kim immediately replied, "That's right. As everyone knows, in audition programs like this, there are usually pre-selected individuals before the program starts, and during the implementation process. There will be connections between major entertainment companies, so the top 10 have already been decided. Therefore, I will share this list and hope that everyone will be more flexible in their evaluations. Oh, don't worry, LS Entertainment's Hatron has also been selected." Seung held the list, read it, and asked, "What about Chei?" Chief Kim immediately answered, Yes, contestant Chei will also be eliminated this time." Seung wondered, if we have to choose the two most outstanding contestants of the program, wouldn't it be Hatron and Chei? The person opposite explained, "But there's no more room for the pre-selected individuals, and interest is gradually decreasing, so the broadcasting station has decided, even if they continue to exploit, Chei is no longer profitable." Seung continued to ask, "Have the entertainment companies on the list invested in these contestants yet?" Hearing that, he stammered, well, there was actually a contestant who wasn't initially on the top 10 list, contestant Dutru. But recently, she signed a contract with JN Entertainment. JN Entertainment has promised a large investment to secure Dutru's spot in the top 2. Chief Kim thought to himself. JN Entertainment must have been arranged by director Hu SOC. The chief spoke up, "What about Hatron? I understand that LS didn't make any investments, but because LS Entertainment has good relationships, they included Hatron, right?" While everyone was talking, Seung thought, Chei has no company, no money to exploit, so she's no longer valuable. The man opposite him said cheerfully, "Since you seem to be interested in Chei, I had to call you out to talk privately. Unlike the other judges, the internal situation is like this. I hope you understand and cooperate." Seung stood up and said, "It's up to you. It's not my business. But if that's the reason, I'll also withdraw." The others were startled upon hearing this. "What did you just say? Are you planning to withdraw?" Seung explained, "My sole purpose in participating in K Singota was because of contestant Chei. But if that purpose is gone, why should I stay?" Someone suddenly became angry, pointing a finger at his face and yelling, "Hey you! You're so praised by everyone that now you don't respect anyone. Aren't you afraid of having to compensate for the contract with the broadcasting station? Don't you want to appear on television anymore?" Seung, hearing the yelling, yelled back, "What about compensating for the contract? If you need money, I'll pay. Initially, I didn't intend to participate in the program, and you guys were the ones who persuaded me. I don't want to appear on television, so if the relationship with the broadcasting station deteriorates because I don't participate anymore, it's fine." Chief Kim, sitting to the side, was delighted. "Awesome, kid! There was a reminder, "Hey Kim, stop HS, will you?" He immediately replied, "CP, do you think HS is someone easily stopped? If you can't compromise, I'll do this. I'll create an undeniable reason for Chai to enter the top 10. So, instead of the top 10, we'll make it the top 11. Chai, after hearing this information, exclaimed in surprise, "What? You mean sign an exclusive contract with LS Entertainment?"